Hey guys, welcome into the show. Cancelthisshow.com. April 13th episode. I'm Vic Faust with Tap of the Hassle. Eric Johnson on his way in. Lizzie Sparks on our social media and the comment line. Scotty Gherkin on the boards, making us look and sound as good as we possibly can. Okay, here we go. We really wanted to jump into some fentanyl talk today. We'll do that as a segment. I was glad Tabitha brought that up with me yesterday, and then when I saw some of the stats, it shocked me. Where's the outrage? We'll get into that. Very interesting tweets. I don't know if somebody broke into his account on Twitter. I don't think so, but Malik Obama, the older half-brother of Barack Obama, tweeting some very interesting things regarding Michelle Obama and pronouns. It just bizarre. It blew me away. Maybe I'm lost in all of it. Suspicious that 18 to 20,000 cows die all of a sudden just in some random fire at a dairy plant. Is it just random? We talked a lot about Juul when they came out. $460 million lawsuit that they got to pay out to 6 states. Tell you why. And Tabitha, do you have any hope with 3 GOP representatives trying to introduce the gold standard to stabilize the dollar?
I had no idea.
Okay. All right.
Welcome to the show.
We're working on some technical issues.
There's no technical issues.
Yeah, Tabitha's working on some technical issues.
She's working it out in her mind.
Hello, welcome to the show. We'll get into all of that. Plus anything else you have, you guys got going on. Also, Tabitha sent me one of the, John Wick is a very popular movie series. There is a lookalike with Keanu Reeves that just blows my mind. We're going to show you that video as well. Of course, share the show, like the show. It's Cancel This, Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. Central Time. And of course, you can catch us all the time at cancelthisshow.com. All of our original content is there. And we appreciate you guys sharing, liking, subscribing, sending stars when you do that as well. You know what we do? We cover the national headlines. We do politics, society, and anything cancel culture related. It is cancelthisshow.com. Here, take a look at our partners. If you need any of the products they're buying, let them know you heard about them from cancelthisshow.com.
This is Dr. Mahesh Bhagway. I'm an orthopedic surgeon here in St. Louis for over the last 20 years. I went to Washington University. I got my medical degree at St. Louis University. From local high school athletes, college athletes, weekend warriors, injured workers, and even Cardinal baseball players, I've treated them all. Our practice strives to personalize care with every new patient being seen by me. To find me, contact my staff at Dr. Bhagway.
And now it's here, the unveiling of the latest Carroll House lifestyle collections. I'm Brooke with my sister Amy, inviting you to see 3 football fields of the latest styles.
Our new lifestyle collections are premium quality furniture made exclusively for us and available only at Carroll House.
The attention to detail is unmatched, and so is the value, nearly half the price of a typical gallery store.
Plus, get free financing, delivery, and in-home design. Carroll House, because you like nice things.
Kathy O. Big Strick, owner of Experience Real Estate Partners with eXp, has been one of St. Louis, Missouri's highest selling groups for 26 years running. In that time, Kathy and her team have successfully assisted an incredible 4,000 families. So if you're thinking about buying, building, or selling, be sure to put Kathy's group and their experience to work for you, and you can expect to be moved. Just give her a call at 314-276-SOLD. That's 314-276-7653, or find her online at experience-re.com. Winty's in the Chesterfield Valley, if you don't know, is a family-owned business that has been around since 1994, serving some of the best chicken wings in town, no joke. Also known for their fresh burgers, pizza, and incredible smoked meat. Top-notch happy hour specials are included, plus live music every Friday and Saturday. Oh yeah, you can also enjoy their spacious heated covered patio. It's Winty's in the Chesterfield Valley, 18,000 Chesterfield Airport Road.
As all of you may know, the home of the Cancel This studio is located at the all-inclusive private jet hangar Strategic Air Services. Founded in Chesterfield, Missouri, they take pride in offering a meticulous approach to private aviation through services that fully manage your trip from takeoff to landing. Strategic Air Services is more than just storage for your aircraft. They offer state-of-the-art amenities to its members and guests. When you are not traveling, you have the luxury of enjoying their world-class gym, conference rooms, lounges, and so much more. Strategic Air Services offers an unparalleled luxury experience for all things private aviation. If you're looking for a new place to call home for your aircraft, give them a call today at 636-400-7601. Again, that's 636-400-7601, or visit their website at strategicairservices.net.
Hey guys, welcome back into cancelthisshow.com. It is a Thursday, April 13th. Once again, jump into cancelthisshow.com. Like, subscribe, share the show as always. That's how we continue to grow. We appreciate you jumping in and letting us know about stories and things that you want to cover as well. Okay, I'm Vic Faust with Tabitha Hassel. Eric Johnson on his way in. Lizzie Sparks on the chat line. Scotty Gherkin on the boards, taking care of everything that we can right there. You hear Tabitha in the background talking about her computer. So with that being said, we jump right in today. If we're missing something, let us know. If you like it, let us know. Feel free. That's what we do. It's cancelthisshow.com. Of course, we get set. Hope everybody has energy. Hi, Tabitha. Welcome to the show this morning. Happy Thursday.
Good morning. How are you?
You're popping with your red today. Smile.
Well, I am, because I'm
Just be happy.
For some reason, my camera's like
Be happy.
super focused
Be happy.
and not far back like it normally is.
It looks great.
No, it's just it's just a boob shot.
Are you talking about right now?
It's not how it always is.
Well, you know what?
It's a preset.
It's a You know
it
what?
doesn't matter if it's a preset.
Yes, it
This is
does.
not-
Because it goes right back
I'm
to the
normally
same
not
spot.
just a bunch of boobs on the.
We have viewers.
But you are.
And we have listeners. Can our viewers tell Tabitha, please, how great she looks? That
She
shot,
looks fabulous.
I think that's the best shot we've ever had.
Okay, but I would just prefer not just to be a pair of boobs in the camera.
Tabitha, you're not about
Scotty's
your
like,
boobs.
I'm done.
Tabitha, you have your brain. I mean, that is an amazing shot. Anyway, I digress. There it is. Oh, boobs. BEWBS. Okay. Stunning. You look great, Tab. Of course, everybody, here they come. One subject that you brought up, and I wanted to jump into it too, the fentanyl crisis. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody's talking about it. What was it about the fentanyl crisis that said, you know what? We should address this? Because you brought it up again this week. We've dove in here. We've dove in there. And Paul says, please save the conversation for Eric for the comic relief. Oh, Bendy, I look handsome as well. Thank you, Bendy. I appreciate it. I like my shot.
I know you have a nice tight shot today too. I can see your boobs.
Mine's my boobs. Hey, seriously, what got you excited about or
well, I
more
wouldn't say
motivated, excited to talk about this whole fentanyl situation?
It's frustrating to me that there are so many things going on in the world and in the country that we, not just us, but the entire world focuses on, the Biden administration focuses on. They're so worried about electric vehicles and COVID restrictions and all this ridiculous stuff. But we have hundreds of thousands of people dying every single year from opioid addiction, from opioid use, kids who've only used it one time. And the rates are staggering. And look, Vic, you saw the chart at the rate they're climbing at. It's unbelievable. It's not acceptable. And why isn't this something that's at the forefront of every conversation right now?
And when I started to look at it, it blew my mind. I gave the stat on a previous podcast, but I'm going to say it again. The leading cause of death in this country for people 18 to 45, it's not cancer. It's not alcoholism. It's not COVID. It's not heart attack. It's none of those things. Not car accidents. It's fentanyl.
Yes.
Fentanyl related deaths.
That's right.
18 to 45. I was like, what? Fentanyl? And here we are. And I mean, occasionally you'll see a story. Occasionally you'll hear something, but it's not being attached to any stories with the border. It's not being attached to anybody bringing it into this country. It blows my freaking mind in regards to what's happening with it.
And why doesn't anyone get to the bottom of it? We blame it on Mexico, but Mexico blames it on China. But never do we have any solid, concrete evidence. You know what? You can ask me just about anything there is, and I might say, okay, well, this, and this, connect those dots. But when it comes to fentanyl, I don't even know where it comes from. We know it's coming across our southern border, but where does it start? Who's making it? We know who's bringing it into the country. Is Mexico getting it from China? Are they creating it in Mexico, somewhere else down that northern or southern corridor? I have no idea. I have no idea. But why do we have these open borders? We know it's coming through. We see police, have those stop vehicles and have those big drug busts that they have. Why aren't we doing anything about it? Why aren't we talking about it? Why don't we have more drug education for kids instead of talking to them about gender identity?
Yeah, it is. I mean, the drug it's a potent painkiller used for, management of severe pain as well. Patients are using it with advanced cancer, but it's got a lot of illicit use. And that's the abuse that becomes a problem. You've got drug overdoses, you've got the drug deaths. The potency of fentanyl is the issue too. 100 times, I think you said this before, 100 times stronger than morphine.
It wasn't me that said it because I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But I do
that
know.
Makes it extremely
but that
addictive.
makes sense because think about this. The little tiniest granule, the size of a little granule of salt is enough to kill someone.
And then it gets mixed.
And you know what? It's in everything these days. It's in everything. Some people intentionally buy fentanyl. Other people buy other drugs that's laced with fentanyl. And that's how they end up dying.
One thing that blew my mind, and it came out this last week, Elon Musk, we know that he likes to jump in on certain issues. He's a brilliant man, but does he know everything? Does he always? He is human, right? He's not an alien.
As far as I know.
I did see that there was a Simpsons with him as an alien.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I was like, and he even has the name Elon, alien, Elon. No, but seriously, the billionaire Tesla CEO suggested that legalizing it could combat the opioid crisis in the United States. What are your thoughts on that? I think it's insane.
I'm obviously
I think it's
against
absolutely insane.
But we're going in that direction, though. We are going in that direction. We remember the other day when we talked about the cannabis issue, and I was talking then about British Columbia, Canada, and how in British Columbia, Canada, that's a pilot program. It's just a pilot program where they're trying to test the waters on allowing people to have these illegal, what is now an illegal drug, fentanyl or meth or cocaine, etc., in small amounts. Well, if it works there, then guess what? They're going to roll that out everywhere. And then what's going to happen? I don't believe for 1 minute that it's going to lead to less deaths. I think it's going to lead to some people with some really chaotic, messed up lives.
No, without a doubt.
What's it going to do to our society?
Well, one of the states, it's all over the country. I did a story with the DEA. They say it's that China is more responsible.
That's what I hear.
Than, quote, cartels. Now, the cartels may be trafficking it. They may be setting up the operations because they're geniuses with product. But China is what I was told were the ones that were trying to infiltrate the country, screw the country up here as best as they possibly could with fentanyl.
And what's the role of ISIS? Because this is something else no one really talks about. ISIS, as we know, had this big role in Syria. We were there. We were fighting with them for a while under Obama, fighting against them under Trump. But now we hear that ISIS is in Mexico. They're training the drug cartels. This has been going on for over a year. It's nothing new. They're training the drug cartels, and they're making the cartels more vicious. So how are these terror organizations like ISIS infiltrating the cartels? And do they have anything to do with fentanyl coming across our border?
That's a good point. It is. I know somebody who died of fentanyl, not in this state, in another state. I'm curious because we do have people that jump in the show on the live portion of it for our viewers. And of course, listeners jump in at whatever time on the audio standpoint. By the way, you can always go to canceltheshow.com to find us on whatever platform you like best from a video standpoint. And then, of course, as soon as the show ends, straight for the audio and all of the audio platforms as well. With that being said, do you know people? Have you been affected by fentanyl? it hit your home? Has it hit your hometown? The stories and such, that it's a situation that concerns you, because I still don't know, Tabitha, at least in the state of Missouri. Ask people in Texas, Arizona, New Mexico. They're dealing with it because it comes through the borders and it's right there. It's a massive issue in Texas. I still don't know as if people and the average everyday American is thinking about it being a crisis, especially right now. We have the banks, we have the dollar, we have crypto, we have we have political stories right and left.
I think people are, Vic, because you know what? Most people have been touched in some way by drug addiction. Most people know someone who died of drug addiction. I had my youngest brother, Jeffrey, died partly because of a drug addiction. I mean, it's touched everyone. You know someone, you just said.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's so many of us who know people who have died over addictions.
Well, of course, the addictions, the potency, as we just talked about, when it comes to fentanyl, makes it such a nasty, and I mean a nasty, debilitating drug that, boom, just like that, life can end. I brought up the situation that was going on in Texas. You now have Governor Abbott in Texas. I mean, just recently, it was last week, I mean, he put out $10 million to the state just for anti-fentanyl drugs. They were medicines for overdoses to try to reverse it. Every county, 254 counties in the state of Texas, got this medicine. If that doesn't tell you what a crisis it is, and it's in Texas, and it's only going north, and it's going east, and it's going west, that shows you what is happening in that state right now.
No question about it.
We talk about Narcan, but
what about the new Narcan-resistant drugs?
Like, I don't know what.
Well, there are several new drugs out on the market. There's this new one they're calling Tranq, and I believe it's Narcan.
What's it called? Tranq?
Tranq, TRANQ, and it has some type of like horse tranquilizer in it, and I think in some other things. There's a new drug making its way. It's in Illinois. I haven't heard yet too much about Missouri, but it's bent something? I don't know as much about drugs, but
I'm not familiar.
I was thinking phenobarbital, but that's not it. I don't think. But anyway, it's got maybe barbiturates. It's got something in it that does not respond to Narcan. So that means more deaths. Because right now, Narcan is the go-to. If you have a drug overdose, they will use Narcan on you. Do you know, if you talk to some St. Louis City police officers, and I'm sure this is the case all across the country, they will tell you that there are individuals that will overdose. Let's say at 9 a.m., they give them Narcan. They overdose again at 2 p.m. They give them Narcan. They overdose again at 10 p.m.
What the hell?
I swear to you, it's crazy. This is like a crazy epidemic. And so many people don't even know that this is happening. And think of the resources that's using when police have to respond continuously for the same person overdosing over and over and over and getting Narcan. It's crazy.
Well, I mean, just in
what are the effects of Narcan? I mean, can you administer that multiple times in a day?
Yes, you can. And yes, they do.
That's crazy.
Okay. Texas had 2012 people died last year. 2012 people from fentanyl. So if you don't think it can't hit you, if you don't know, I mean, you can, and just let's be real here. We know kids and adults for that matter. You may be somewhere, you may try some. Oh, I'm getting here. You know, I've even been told about fentanyl getting involved into marijuana. I don't know.
It is. It has been found in marijuana. It has killed people in marijuana. Some people put it there intentionally and some not.
And when you start thinking about that as accepted as marijuana is, which we talk about it all the time, you better know where you're getting your marijuana.
That's right.
And if you're doing drugs of any kind, you better know where you're getting it. That's the problem. And that, when I did the stories with the DEA, the same thing. Like, if people are doing this, they better know 100% where they're getting it from. Because if you buy things off the street, and they say kids and younger people are more apt to trust. Oh yeah, okay, cool. And they're novices. This is the first time they've dealt with something like this. So they're jumping in. They're like, oh, okay. And then boom, before you know it, you have a serious problem going on in this country. We also had, believe it or not, the Biden administration. This came out this week as well. The White House declared that fentanyl combined with, and I'd never heard of this, Xylazine. It's an animal tranquilizer.
That's the trank that I'm talking about.
Okay. It's an animal tranquilizer that's being used in illicit drugs.
Right.
The Biden administration called it an emerging threat facing the United States due to its role in the ongoing opioid crisis. So when it gets connected with that or adulterated in some way, that is a massive, massive deal. Now, by the way, this move, it was announced yesterday, by the way. It's the first time in history that any administration has declared a substance to be an emerging threat to the country. That's a pretty big deal. CNN doc Sanjay Gupta was talking about it, just how serious this whole issue is and why it is. He says this drug, which is an animal sedative, which you were just talking about, being mixed with fentanyl, being found in all 50 states, it's become an important part for us to make sure that we're declaring it an emerging threat. I had no idea. I'd never heard of this.
That's the trank that I was told. They call it trank.
Well, they call it trank dope.
Absolutely deadly.
Trank dope. TRANQ dope. Trank dope. Eric, have you ever heard of Trank Dope? Or is that the name of your new band?
I think they were playing at the pageant last week. Trank Dope.
Trank Dope.
You guys, this is a compelling drugs conversation you guys are having this morning.
Oh, you like it? Well,
let me break it down.
We were waiting for the drug expert to get here.
I like that. Drug expert.
You are the drug expert.
Here's the deal. Here's what this is it. You are correct. The components of fentanyl come from China, right?
China.
The cartel is exceptionally good at building things like methamphetamine and cocaine, and then putting fentanyl on marijuana plants to keep you more addicted. So it's a perfect relationship between an illicit group called the Chinese and another illicit group that's called the cartel, whichever one faction you like. But they're very good at making this garbage. Okay, the Mexican government is completely oblivious to all this, and they couldn't stop it if they wanted to. So there's this beautiful relationship of no one's culpable. No one's culpable. Well, they're doing it. You've heard the Mexican president Tabitha say, "Oh, we have nothing to do with this. We don't know about fentanyl. We don't build it. And why don't the Americans take care of this? Is their problem." It is our problem. He's absolutely right. It's kind of rude how he said it, but
it is our problem because people aren't dying in Mexico.
It's screwing with the Biden administration's ability to bring as many illegal aliens over the border as possible. It's the one little thing that it's a little thorn in the side of their idea of bringing millions and millions of people over, because now in a presidential debate, they got to answer the question, why are you letting so many people die?
Well, don't you think it's with
That's
intent?
where the what?
Don't you think it's with intent? Don't you think it's another way to destroy our country?
No, I don't think so. No,
our government, ask a lot of people out there, our government is personally responsible for allowing these drugs to come into our country. They don't do anything to stop it. If these drugs were so rampant in Mexico where they're being made, why aren't there hundreds of thousands of people
I don't
in
think
Mexico
that the
dying?
Biden administration, I don't think Obama was doing this. I don't think Trump was doing this.
They're doing it with intent.
They have, look, here's the deal. They've been bringing drugs over the border for millions of years to make money. Don't you remember Oliver North? This has nothing to do with Biden. This has to do, hold on. This has way more to do with George Soros's idea of letting the entire world come and invade the country.
You need to go home and watch the movie Made in America.
Okay, I got to get.
It's all about the government and how they have worked with the cartels to bring illegal drugs to this country with the full intent of getting Americans addicted to drugs. They've made movies about it. That was during Bill Clinton's time.
So every time we talk on this show, there is a little bit of truth and there's a little bit of ridiculously. I think that
we know which one's telling the truth
the deal.
And which one's being ridiculous.
Maybe. I don't know. But here's the deal. So you're saying to me that Joe Biden, who probably is incompetent enough to not even know about this, but the handlers of Joe Biden are going, man, if we just let people in here, we can get a lot of fentanyl over the border. So you think that in their mind, they're thinking that they want to get fentanyl in here?
Absolutely.
Wow.
We know it happened under Bill Clinton. They made Tom Cruise made an entire movie
about dark.
it.
I did hear about the movie that was being made. Now, on the big screen, on our TVs and our media, the Biden administration is saying they're putting out new plans right now to go after the traffickers, to go after the financing from the international standpoint. But when it's China, and it's clear that China has something on Big Joe, we got an issue. The big man is not going to be putting China at any point of a rock and a hard place. We already know that.
Yeah.
Other
Look,
people.
everybody's opportunistic, Vic. If ISIS had a plane ticket to get over to Mexico to run the border,
they're already there.
You're right about that.
They're already there.
And all you have to do is have NBC or CBS say, tonight on CBS, we found out there is an entire ISIS camp right outside of Texas.
And there are.
That would be a problem that they would have to deal with, but they'll never say that.
They'll never say it. They'll never deal
that.
with it because they want it to happen.
But media is not pressing the issue. They're just not. There's so many freaking bad things going on in this country right now. So many scandalous things.
Yes.
So many tabloid issues. Americans follow around. Oh, yeah. And then we don't talk about the meat and potato issues. You want to talk about health? You want to talk about security? We're worried about transgender. We're worried about, what are we going to do there?
Am I the only one in this?
In 2021, 70,000 people died in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 70,000 from fentanyl-related issues.
There's a little bit of responsibility that a 17-year-old kid has to take before they light up a joint that might be laced with fentanyl. There's a little bit of responsibility that a family needs to take before they say, my son was 18 years old, he died. Well, how did he die? Well, he was taking fentanyl-laced Adderall down in St. Charles. Oh, really? Well, why was he doing that? There's a little bit of
Parents
that has
can only be held so much.
No, I don't know about that.
So much responsibility because you know what? Your kids go to school.
Hey, you want to what? You want to die real quick?
They can get drugs at school these days. Believe it or not, one of the biggest trafficking apps right now for children to get drugs is Snapchat. I mean, you can get drugs in so many different places when you're a kid. And yes, the parent has some responsibility. So I used to search my son's room. He didn't like it, but I did it anyway. I tried to do it when he wasn't around. Thank God he never got involved in drugs. I'd do it when he was around.
I'd say, come here. It's inspection time. And I would slap on the little white glove and say, let's rock.
Don't you remember when you were a teen? I mean, if there was something you wanted to do that your parents
it had nothing to do with fentanyl or cocaine. I'll tell you that right now.
But I understand
it was going out to a kegger over by the river.
And me too. But what about had you wanted to? The people who do with kids.
I would hope someone would barge in my room and bring me to rehab is what I wish.
And I would hope so. But a lot of times parents don't know until it's too late. It happened to a really good girlfriend of mine. Her daughter overdosed on fentanyl. She has begged me to bring it up on the show many times because her daughter died from it. Yeah. And she says enough people don't talk about it. And fentanyl is only one little piece of the puzzle.
No, it's the big piece now.
Hundreds of thousands of people are dying in this country every year from opioid addiction.
Oh, I've seen two people die of heroin. I've seen two people die of heroin in front of me. One in front of me. I saw another little kid where the mom was on heroin that made the little kid addicted to heroin. I've seen some nasty crap with drugs, but it is really, you're right. The cartels in China, you guys suck balls. Trust me, I get it. But the parents that see something happening in their house that don't sit down and, like you said, strap on the white glove and do the due diligence. You guys kind of have a little bit of responsibility yourself.
Parents have to do their best. But I know when I was in high school, I've never even tried a drug. I could care less about drugs. But I remember kids going out to the tennis courts. Everyone knew what they were doing, going out to the tennis courts and using cocaine. This was in high school.
Yeah, but that's different now.
And now
it's more difficult. I think it's more difficult to detect.
It's more, you're so right.
To tell.
It is. You're so right.
A lot of those issues are very difficult to try to find.
Yeah.
Yes.
And once again, there have been stories nationally, but then it pops up and then it goes away. I just don't feel as if it's connecting with the American public.
It's not, Vic.
And unless you're a family that has lost somebody to fentanyl, it's not. And then what do we do besides talk about it to hopefully try to get people to take it more serious? Now, it's clearly a big topic the White House was talking about the last 2 days. They brought it front and center. Biden's nowhere to be found. No surprise there. He's not going to do press conferences. But at least Sanjay Gupta was out and about talking about the issue, declaring it an emerging threat to try to bring some significance to it. But in our day and age,
too little, too late.
Yeah, in 2023, I just don't know if anything is going to.
Nothing's happening. Nothing's going to happen until you get an administration in here that has the balls to put the National Guard on the border every mile stationed and saying this is a federal issue. Oh, by the way, we just opened up a dilapidated federal prison to bring every single person over the border into that prison, period. there's no consequence for the actions, whether you are a drug dealer in Chicago or coming over the border with fentanyl. This government has made it damn clear. We will give you a slap on the wrist and a citation, and then we will send you on your way. That is really the message.
They could stop it if they wanted
until
to.
someone comes in here with all guns blazing and say, yeah, we dare you to come over here. As a matter of fact, we have a few howitzers trained on your fentanyl camps across the border. As soon as you have a drone that takes out one of these fentanyl camps that's an American drone and says, yeah, we just invaded your sovereignty because your sovereignty is screwing with our sovereignty.
That would be a war.
No, it would not.
If we go into
it would
Mexico
not.
with a drone and shoot
it would
at
not
cartels,
be a war. No,
it
if
would
you said no,
the cartels control the government.
I'll tell you what, if you said,
it would be a
I was
war.
watching some with Trump last night. If you said to the Mexican government, look, we're going to give you 2 chances, not 1, but 2. Don't talk. Not 1, but 2. And we are going to say, we are looking at this fentanyl camp over here. We're looking at that camp over there. If one more pill comes across the border, we will arrest him. We will spotlight him. We'll show you. On the second attempt, we will take a military
that will never
drone.
Happen. Because the cartels run the government and the police.
Then I hope
in Mexico.
I hope you like your fentanyl laced marijuana cigarette, because that's what's going to continue to happen.
I agree.
I'm telling you how to fix it.
I get concerned.
I agree with you.
I'm telling you how to fix it.
But I'm saying it's not going to happen.
Let me tell you another little story. Did you guys watch the Trump thing last night with Tucker Carlson? Here's what he said, and this is why I think that actually could happen. You had leadership.
That was the night before.
You had leadership. Apparently, that was Macron was saying, we are going to tax the hell out of American companies over here in France.
Correct.
Right? And Trump got on the phone on a Friday, apparently, and said, yeah, hi, Macron, how are you doing? If you do that, you put these taxes on our companies on Monday, you will have a 100% tax on every wine and champagne that comes to this country. And he goes, I'll give you till Monday to think about it. 15 minutes later, Macron says, we had no intention in doing that, when they had every intention in doing it. That's how leadership should run.
Yes, that's why we need Trump back in office.
And that's why I think a Trump would say, there's going to be a military drone that takes out every single one of these cartels.
He didn't need to. Remember, Trump was?
Back then he didn't, because he was building a wall.
Well, Trump, and that's what he would do again. I mean, Trump was the president. And when Trump was the president, we cut down border crossings by 92%. We cut down drug trafficking into this country significantly because he put up a wall. He didn't need to attack Mexico
and
to get it done.
And we wanted to bring up the fentanyl situation just to bring some sort of publicity to it. It's not going anywhere. You're going to continue to hear more about it. And once again, the more you educate, the more you talk about it. You hope and pray that education can help anybody that's using any sort of a drug to stay away. And like I said, my biggest concern is the marijuana issue. With all the marijuana becoming legal, know where you're getting it from. Get a reputable company, and don't veer from that. Do what you've always done, because you'll see certain issues pop up. Case in point, this leads us into the next topic. People have to bring lawsuits. They have to bring attention for whatever they can do. Juul, the electronic cigarette manufacturer, just settled a $462 million lawsuit because of lawsuits alleging that it marketed those vapes to minors. That wasn't all that long ago. $462 million to 6 states. Now, the plaintiff said that they didn't disclose nicotine content in their products. Yeah, I think now we would be more happy to be dealing with nicotine than fentanyl. However, they didn't do it. And of course, kids got targeted. Kids get caught up in this stuff.
And it's more than addiction.
And then you get vape pens. Vape pens are everywhere now. Everywhere. What do you mean more than addiction?
Well, Juul was kind of the start of a lot of that. But then not only was it addictive to kids, and they targeted kids and young people with these Juul pens, but think of all the kids that died of vape-related injuries who now have COPD because they use these vape pens. You know, Juul being amongst them. There are several lawsuits out there from individual people who are suing Juul because they ended up with severe lung damage. Some parents suing Juul because their children died because of vaping.
It's interesting. Juul said, as part of this whole situation with their lawsuit, that underage usage of vape products has declined 95% since 2019. That's incredible. That's almost all. 95% since 2019.
Well, then don't do it. I mean, what's the end of the conversation?
Exactly.
Don't do it. Okay, if you want to get medieval on their asses, then do exactly what I said. You give them 2 chances, and other than that, you make cartels look over their shoulder at 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and you tell them, if you don't fix this, we're coming at your ass. That's how you say it, exactly like that. You even say it exactly like I just said it.
You need to watch
coming
the
after
movie.
We're coming after your ass.
You need to go watch the movie I told you about.
I'm not going to watch any
He's got to
movies.
watch
Made in
2,000
America.
Mules
Got way
first.
too much
And
stuff to
2,000
do.
Mules and Ukraine on Fire, and you will have a whole different perspective because
No,
you
I
will
don't watch movies. I
understand
don't watch movies.
how the government
Yeah.
works with cartels, and that's why we have drug
Oh,
problems.
there you go. You want
Eric
your problem?
knows that the
country.
government works with cartels.
Yeah.
He doesn't.
Yeah, you do.
I think he
do.
does.
He's wanting to go to Mexico. He just said he didn't. We just had a whole talk about
No,
it.
he knows.
Look, here's the deal, Tabitha. Here's the deal. I'm telling you right now, where there's a vacuumous void, criminals will go and try to exploit it. That's what is going on all over the United States right now. The world is also taking advantage of this vacuumous void. Okay, and I just think this is a side problem to what the Biden administration wanted. They want their demographics shifted in all these red states. That's why they're doing it. Make no bones about it. They want cheap labor and they want Democrats to vote for them. Period. Discussion over. We've been talking about trying to put a mosaic together in the show for the longest time. That's a slam dunk from now on. Okay. 2 years ago, Tabitha, I think you probably knew better than I did. It's starting to come to my head now. Oh, I get it. They want Central America. They want all these Nicaragua. They want Brazilians to come over the border. They're going to vote for Democrats eventually. Cheap labor. Now I get it.
Oh, well, of course it's all about voting.
I think that China sticking billions of fentanyl pills in the country. You don't think that they're kind of a shady little country trying to destroy us?
There's no question, but we
Okay.
also play a part in that.
Do you think the Biden administration
we play a part in that?
Do you think the Biden administration is actually going, China, I need more of that fentanyl, China. Let's go. Come on.
To some degree, yes.
No.
Yes. See, I told you he doesn't believe it.
I
No,
don't believe that.
It is absolutely happening. Our government works with cartels. We know they do. They do. If you talk to any
Government or CIA?
they are part of the government.
I know, but
CIA
let's
is
make-
a
but
branch
let's-
of the
But
government.
let's make a
And it was the
No, make a difference,
DEA that was working with some of these drug traffickers in the past. They're all branches of the government. You don't think that the Obama administration knew, the Clinton administration knew that?
I promise you, the Biden
doesn't
administration
know.
is clueless.
I don't believe that for 1 minute.
They are clueless.
I do.
Nick,
I
come
think
on.
they're
I'm
clueless.
very
They're
surprised to
clueless.
hear that out of you because
I think
the
they
Biden
know.
administration is just an arm of the Democratic
Here's the
regime.
deal.
They know everything that's going on.
Here's the quagmire.
Now, Biden himself
Here's
has
the
no
quagmire.
idea.
Then maybe we can get off of talking about drugs. But here's the quagmire. If they say there's a massive problem with fentanyl coming over the border, then logically they have to shut it down. If they don't address it, then they don't have to be so.
Well, they don't.
They can be a little more shady about
They don't address it. They're not
All right.
shutting it down.
Well,
they're
there
not
you go.
even. They're not even trying to. We're not going to go into Mexico and
Yeah.
use American drones to shoot up drug cartels. None of that's going to happen. We have cartels right here in our own country right now. All over our own country, we have cartels.
These
And
guys
we're not
are
doing
so
a darn thing
These
about
guys are so Teflon Donish. They brought Hunter Biden over to Ireland with his dad.
Yeah.
And put him in front of a crowd. These guys know
It's-
that Hunter is scot-free.
They don't care.
They don't care.
They don't care what we think. They don't care what anyone in the world thinks. They don't care.
They're scot-free, man. They can do whatever they want. They are unimpeded to the end zone, as they say, Vic.
Oh,
There's no linebackers. There's no safeties coming to get anybody. This is basically
well, we know
name
we're
your favorite
living,
running back on his way to the touchdown.
Well, we do know we're living in a crazy, crazy time, and we're talking about Biden. I don't think there's any way in hell that man's running for office.
I do.
Why
wouldn't he? A puppet president?
Last
Come on,
week,
man.
maybe, yeah. I think we're not ready to announce it yet on the
He's
Today
running.
Show.
And he's winning.
It is interesting. And he's what?
Yeah. They know
Okay.
something. And I'll tell you why, because the same dark, deep state that we keep talking about, the one that Tabitha thinks is letting fentanyl over the border, if they didn't think they could get him in, they would release every single Hunter Biden thing that they had. It would
Well, they know they
be
can.
overwhelming.
They'll do what they did the last time.
But
They'll
we
just cheat.
talk. Who's really running this country? As you say, Tabitha, it's not Biden. Who is Biden
Who is
answering to?
Well, there's no question. It's Obama. This is Obama's third term, but it is the
Ooh.
Democrat regime. Just like you see regimes in other countries, we have a regime here as well.
Okay, I thought about Gavin Newsom, and then I brought that up yesterday.
Not in 2024.
Because as Eric and I know, but he was visiting the White House when Biden was gone. And I'm like, okay, that just didn't happen by chance.
Nope.
Yeah, him and Kamala were hooking up.
Oh, God.
No, they were not.
Well, they do know each other.
Yeah.
Oh,
Kamala
my
does.
God.
Yeah.
No, I cannot believe you just
It's
said
like
that.
my husband's out
Hey.
getting some from the never mind.
Okay. Well, there's a reason why I brought that up. And this was bizarre. And we try to find things and people send things and we do research. Malik Obama.
Who?
Malik Obama.
Don't even know who that is.
The older half brother of Barack Obama. They do not get along.
Otherwise known as Barry.
Barry Obama?
Who's Barry again?
Barry, what was his name? Sotoro? Barry Sotoro. That is allegedly Obama's real name.
Okay.
Or the name he
I get
used.
so confused.
Hey,
with this show.
Scotty, when you get a chance, can you pop up the tweet? At first, I thought this was fake. And if we're fake, go ahead, call us out on it. We're telling. But then when I went and looked this up, the accounts there, you can follow Malik Obama. He and Barack do not, I repeat, do not get along. Okay.
They did it one time.
This was from a few days ago. Malik Obama, will campaign against Michelle Obama when she runs for president. Okay, this is getting massive attention, massive views all over the place. Then look, if that's not big enough about a presidential run, then if you go down to his first comment there, calling Michelle he, she.
I've been saying this for years.
and you were right.
Michelle, Michael being transgender.
I can't read that. Can somebody read it verbatim?
It says, Malik Obama, will campaign against Michelle Obama when she runs for president. Then we go down. Malik Obama puts in he, she. As
Eric, I've sent you this stuff, right?
Eric sent a great video
He
today.
didn't read it.
And I was going to play it for you, but there's so many.
Oh, this was years ago. This was 2-3
This
years
has
ago.
been going
Scotty
on.
is definitely
Joan Rivers is the best example of
Yes,
this
she is.
entire
She
conspiracy.
really is.
Yeah, but she's
That's
not,
why she's dead.
Yeah, but how does Joan Rivers know for real?
How didn't she?
I don't know.
There's a lot of
I
people.
don't
She
know.
called it
know,
out before
Eric.
anyone
I know.
even said anything and died, what, a month later?
And then also Malik goes on, which is just bizarre to me. And then it appears as if he's starting to talk about Michael. After centuries, first black president. What did he, she do?
Wait a minute. What? I wish I
What
could see
did
this.
he, she do? Malik talking about Barack. What did he, she do for anybody, especially black people, other than making them, you, using the pronouns again, them, you, feel good? Biggest con of the ages. The blind can't see tragic. Then Malik goes on to say in a tweet, when he
Okay.
does it, will be only to feed he, her, their egos. He, her, talking about Michelle, as many refer to as Michael. We have run the sound in our former radio show with Barack Obama saying, well, Michael and I mean Michelle. He has
Many
said,
times.
He has
I've seen
said
that.
at
Many
least
times.
I've seen
twice.
that.
The videos. He has publicly called
Yeah.
Michelle Michael twice, and there are all kinds of pictures all over the place.
Yeah.
Then the conspiracy theorist will go on and talk about the issue. What?
Or the truth tellers. you
How
mean.
come? Or the truth tellers.
So is it?
Thank you for correcting me, Tabitha. Then there's no pictures of Michelle Obama, Michael Obama, pregnant. And then they have
Good point.
And then they have a
What?
great couple
Never
friends.
seen that.
This friend group that they have, this husband, wife,
Mm-hmm.
who they hang out with, look identical to the daughters. Are you following me?
I
Taylor?
can't take this on a Thursday morning. I'm
Can you take it on a Tuesday morning?
Are you saying because it's too conspiracy-ish? Eric, I'm a good researcher.
no doubt about
I'm
that.
not great at everything, trust me. But if there is anything I'm good at, it's researching. And I have searched high and low.
Wow.
And you cannot find former students of
Mhm.
Barack Obama to talk. He was a college professor. Where are the students that he taught? nowhere.
Wait a minute. That's what? It's
What?
Chicago University or whatever it was?
Where not one person has ever come forward and said, yes, he was my teacher. Yes, he was my professor.
What?
What about, in like Vic said, the pregnant, Michelle Obama being pregnant? Nothing.
Yeah.
Find photos of them when they were children. Very difficult to find. There's
can't.
one photo of
So
Michelle.
they were adopted?
But you can
Is that what you're
find.
I'm not talking about the kids. I'm talking about Barack Obama. I'm talking about the fact that there are no ties to him anywhere. You can't find any information on him.
Okay.
He came out of absolutely nowhere.
So what you're saying is that we have all these pictures of Ronald Reagan and Truman, and we have a nice port. Even if we didn't have cameras, we know what happened with George Washington. But when it comes to Obama,
he came out
there's
of
this
nowhere.
bizarre black
Yes.
hole from Chicago
Hey,
onward.
Scotty,
Is that
That's
what you're
exactly
saying?
right.
Scotty, can you play video that I
Okay.
sent without the sound?
Okay, that's interesting.
Is that
Tab.
possible?
With the video that you sent, did you already
I
send it?
I sent you Obama video, but I didn't want the sound to play. And there's reasons because I'd like the show to stay on. That's why. So I don't know if you can do that. or
How
not.
big of a deal
You did.
is
I
it?
didn't get the only thing I got was the a Biden one and the Keanu.
Okay, I'll send it to you again.
Yeah, I do not have that one.
If this came out, especially in the era of transgendered beers, how big of a deal would this be, Tabitha?
You mean, well, first of all, I think everyone already knows.
Okay, wait.
But you're talking about if they admitted to it.
Let me set it up.
They
for you.
openly admitted to it.
Let me set it up for you because I am right now the public that I'm talking about. So here I'm going to set it up for you. So all of a sudden, I don't know how it would come out of the closet. You definitely couldn't launch this on Hannity or on Tucker because no one would believe it. If it came out and said, Michelle and I have something to tell you, and we've been holding this because we didn't think the American people would be able to accept it, but I'm proud to tell you that, and this is my Obama. That's my Obama accent.
I was going to say, are you
Thank
trying
you.
to
Sounds
sound
more
like
like
I
Bill
know.
Clinton.
I can't do it. And I want to tell you.
That is
Okay.
Bill
Oh, you're right.
Clinton.
Never mind. I'm getting rid of the accent. Screw it.
Just leave me
All right.
alone.
All right. So Michelle and this is Michael. I would like to introduce you to Michael. We have come
He's
out.
already said it twice.
So let me say,
At least twice.
what do the American people say?
The most, well, Eric, you're in the minority. And that
Okay.
I believe that
Am
the
I?
majority of Americans either think or have at least heard the rumors that Michelle is actually
Okay.
Michael. And I think the majority of Americans, even though many don't believe it, because
What happens on
denied it,
happens?
know there's
Let
no
me ask you
photo.
this. This is such
And
a
this is so important.
This is such a
with the
great question.
with the transgender
Yes.
talk of the last.
This
2
might be
weeks.
why it's going on, Vic. Tabitha, hour one, CBS or NBC News launches this thing, and it's a sit-down interview with Obama and Michael.
It'll
And
never
all of
happen.
us, hold on. And all of a sudden, the entire world knows that it's Michelle and Barack, or
we
Michael.
already
and,
do. We already
what
do.
happens on hour one?
Absolutely nothing, because we all already know. It's just like all the validation we're
No,
getting
my mom,
every
if she was
day.
still alive, would not know about
But
this.
here's the problem, Eric. The reason it can't happen, and it would be so great. I'm following you, and I'm loving your energy with this.
I have no
is
energy
because
on
then,
this.
Is that because then you have two daughters whose lives get affected and brought in.
Well, they
and
already
then,
know.
And then who are their real parents? And then they get brought into it.
Ooh.
And then they don't want to be in the public. So many people get affected by certain issues. The ripple, the first plunge into the water is one thing, but the ripple is always
Okay.
the thing that starts.
Well, they got to
affect
deal with
society.
it eventually, right?
Maybe.
I mean, this is to me, this is Ellen DeGeneres 2.0 is what this is. If what you're saying is true, and if what their real intention is to make the world a better place for you and me, like Michael Jackson said, and come out of the closet and say, I want to introduce you to Michael. We've had enough being in the closet. The world is ready for it. And then you have Malia and the other kid there, and they go, we adopted them at the age, blah, blah, blah. And Tabitha Hassel was right. There is nothing. The only thing they couldn't say is
And
that,
Michelle is now running for president.
there you go.
Our first trans black female
Right here
president.
on that show, we figured it all out.
Don't ever punch me, dude. You're powerful. Eric's powerful.
That is the most. You nailed it.
You just took my damn hand off.
You nailed it. That's exactly what's going on.
And then the
here.
media goes for, okay, here.
The first transgendered female president of the world.
Don't forget black. She's also black.
I cannot take any more of this show today.
Well,
I can't.
none of this is going to
I can't.
happen. I love hypothetical.
Get out the
situations.
Narcan for Eric.
Yes.
He's overdosed on conspiracy.
They won't even admit that he was raised named Barry. You know, when Alex comes in, Alex will have to talk to us, Alex, our marketing person, about his trip to Kenya and all of the people
Oh,
he
I forgot
talked
about that.
in Kenya,
Jeez.
and that it's very common knowledge
Yeah.
in Kenya.
Well, he's going to be in
that
studio
Obama-
tomorrow for our AI
Exactly.
Day. Maybe we'll take.
Jeez.
He
I
needs to
tell you
talk
what,
about that.
go to Chat GPT 4.0 right now and say, is Michelle really Michael? And see what Chat GPT says.
It's not.
No, but see,
A
here's the
person
thing.
has to program.
We're only, and
ChatGPT.
here's the thing: we're only reporting what Malik Obama is saying.
Okay, that's true. This
is Malik Obama. Malik Obama is calling Michael and Michelle he, she's. This is the brother.
Okay.
And he's putting it on Twitter. So we're reporting the
Okay.
news of what's going on there. And then if you go to TikTok, you have all of these videos that are out there. These are all
Okay.
over TikTok.
Okay.
So check it out.
And look at the photo there. I mean, is that photo what you think it is, or is it just a dimple in her dress? In both occasions, there was 2 dresses there. Were they just dimples in her dress, or were they?
That video is
Male
when
genitals.
Barack Obama called her Michael. This is video where he called her Mike.
Mm-hmm.
I watched the video. I didn't want to get through all the sound because I didn't want to put Scotty at a disadvantage of knowing when to get in and get out. But you can look this video up on TikTok.
Okay.
Very, very simple.
So
And
this
you
is it. Vic figured it out. I was wondering, why are they so enamored with all this transgendered garbage?
These
Vic
are-
Faust-
Is this just a light
Vic-
bulb going off in your
Yes.
head today?
Vic Faust.
We've been
is-
talking about this for like
Vic
4
Faust
years.
made Elliot Davis look like a chump.
How?
Because you figured this out.
What did I figure out? Thank you.
You figured out that he's about to come out and announce to the world.
I
That
didn't
is
say
not
that.
going to
Yes,
happen.
it is.
That is not
And
going
he
to
is going to
happen.
have his wife, who
Oh my God.
the people love, and they're going to say, "We want."
Are you watching
I don't know.
the screen,
Oh my
Eric?
God.
I don't know.
That's.
I think we figured out the entire game of Clue, right?
That is not going to happen. Michelle Obama will never run for president. First of all, she said she doesn't want to run.
Well, don't you think
for president
Malik would have a
anyway.
little bit of inside baseball right now? Don't you think?
No, well,
Malik.
he
How do you say his name? Malik.
guesses like we do because they don't have a relationship any longer.
The video is Awaken with Truth on TikTok. Awaken with Truth on TikTok. This stuff's out there. And of course, Joan
there's
Rivers. Joan said, we already know we've had the first tranny in the
she
White
got
House.
suicided.
And then
Sure
she
did.
died.
She got suicided.
Like
and-
right after this photo or right after this video.
It was a few weeks later. She went in for a simple procedure and she died at the
a
hospital.
dental procedure on top of that.
and that's a simple procedure.
Wow.
So
Wow.
yeah. So
Scotty,
that video gets sent
all
to
your
us.
dreams are coming true. People are going to know what you've been saying
It's
for
not
3
a
years.
dream. I just saw it and figured it needed to be shared because there's a lot of
Now,
there's a lot of research
Now, to be
behind that.
fair,
I mean,
we
it's
know
not
that-
just.
When did you figure this out? What year? Seriously, what?
Before he
I
became
haven't figured
president?
anything out. I'm just going based on what I've seen.
Well, what
You
year
know,
did the light bulb go off? You're like, this is dead on accurate. What year?
just pretty obvious.
I know, but what year was it? 16? Was it 14?
No, I think it was like 19 when I saw it.
Okay,
20.
19. Yeah.
Yeah.
Joe says 0 coincidences, everyone. Just zero.
Okay.
0 coincidences.
Well, Eric, these rumors have been going on since the moment Obama stepped into the White
There's
House.
been a lot of rumors.
Really,
Tabitha.
before he stepped into
Yeah.
the White House, because there were already, even before he went in, there were a lot of suspicions. Because when someone runs for president, you do research on them. You try to figure out who they are. You take a look at their background. Oh, they were a professor. They have a law degree. Oh, they went to school here, here, and here. And then they try to dig up information on them. Well, what about their past? Let's find some students of theirs. Let's find some teachers of theirs. Let's find a cousin or an aunt, an uncle, friends of the kids. None of those things exist for the Obamas.
You're right.
None of those things exist.
I guess it's a testimony to what we say on the show all the time is people don't have time for this garbage. They want to live their life, right?
No.
The liberals will never go after this stuff, and conservatives.
Well, in the end, does it even
and-
matter?
and
No,
cons-
it
and
doesn't.
conservatives have a track record.
Why doesn't it matter?
In the end, it does. In the end, it does not matter. Yes, they pulled over a sham on Americans by not revealing his true identity. But at the same time, what overshadows it is Obama himself is such a sham.
Are they going to, if they do come
He was
out?
groomed to
Okay.
run New World Order.
I take one step back. I think you're right. I don't think Michelle's going to actually run. I don't. But if she wanted to, I could totally see this as a path for them to come forward and say transgenderism, this whole movement right now is the perfect time for us to tell you the truth. We couldn't tell you before because A, B, C, and D. And then all of a sudden, do they have to? I mean, don't they have to disclose everything at that point? They have to.
They have disclosed nothing on Obama.
I mean, don't you think?
Eric, that's a
Nothing.
great point, but they
Nothing.
won't. Even
Don't think
Lizzie,
so?
and remember, Trump did call this out. Lizzie, running our chat line, said Trump called this out years ago.
Yes, he did.
And the whole reason we were talking about the whole issue, and if
Long before Joan
and
did.
Scotty, if you get a chance again, if you could pop up the tweet from Malik Obama, I just found this fascinating. We all know that there can be sibling rivalries, and Malik has been described as being this very jealous man.
Well, he's a MAGA guy.
Yeah, and
He used to be. I don't know.
he's
what he is
terrible. He's
anymore.
also crazy if he's a MAGA guy.
Yeah.
Of course. The reason it became, I mean, as Eric said, I didn't even think about the transgender issue of it, but transgender.
I just wondered, didn't you ever wonder?
It makes sense.
Didn't you ever wonder why are they trying to shove this asparagus down our throat when no one likes asparagus?
It's about New World Order. I am telling you, they started grooming
well,
Obama
I'm sorry,
You
Scott.
couldn't
at
do
a
that without
very young
transgenderism?
age.
Scotty, I was
No,
going to
that
get
just
to
happened
it.
to be
I
his
see the look in
preference.
your face of disgust. I'm sorry, man.
I just don't want to cover your face with it. so-
No, I'm fine. Cover me up. I'm fine with it.
Okay, read this thing. What is this?
I just wanted to read it again to people. Said, remember why we were even talking about that. Malik Obama, the older brother-in-law from Kenya,
Mhm.
which is interesting, tweeted 3 days, was it 3 days ago? Yeah, 3 days ago.
Okay.
And then he started following up on it. I, Malik Obama, will campaign against Michelle Obama when she runs for president. Then he goes on and he tweets again after that the next day. He, she,
Yes.
talking about Michelle. He, she. This
with an
is-
asterisk on he.
That's a good point, Tabitha. I see.
Is
that
this
now.
fake? Come on.
Then-
There's also a possibility that someone.
No,
No,
it's
it's not
his
fake.
it's his legitimate Twitter account.
I
Okay.
spent some. I was almost late this morning because I was taking some time to look into
Did you
this.
find this?
No, I did not.
I found
You found it?
Yes.
Okay.
And Vic sent it out to us early this morning, and I was trying to do as much research as I could before I came in.
Mhm.
And I looked up Malik and his history. You know, in going back to Kenya,
And you can keep this up, Scotty. That's fine.
because well, hopefully Alex will explain to us tomorrow when he's in, if he has a brief moment to do so, that when he went to Kenya, it's just common knowledge there
Mhm.
that Barack Obama was actually born in Kenya.
Hmm.
Now, how these New World Order folks came across him, how they found him, I'm guessing maybe somewhere along the line when he was in school and college. I don't know, but they've erased his history. I always thought Obama was the biggest sham they've ever played against our country until Biden stepped into office, when they have somebody propped up like Weekend at Bernie's trying to tell us he's the president and he's running things when we know he's not.
He is Weekend at Bernie, but not as funny.
Did you know that when Obama visited his grandmother in Kenya,
Okay.
a lot of people, she was very outspoken
Yeah.
against Obama.
Wait. Stop. What?
His own grandmother was very outspoken
Okay.
against him, and she made several comments saying very much the same things about Michelle being a he.
Okay, can I ask a question? If that's the truth, and there is at least a line to the brother and the grandma, why aren't, and maybe you know the answer to this, I don't. Why aren't at least the freedom fighters, the conservatives who are in Congress or whatever, why don't they have a delegation over there trying to figure out if Obama was a American citizen?
Well, because
and I'm only
Congress-
saying that because everything Obama did up to that point would be unconstitutional.
Well,
We went through
everything.
that.
first
Everything
of all,
he signed would be
look at all of the
unconstitutional.
debate that already went by over with his birth certificate.
Oh, I get you. No,
he
they
has a fake birth
they
certificate.
gaslighted us.
Of course
If that's
they
the
did.
truth. No,
And-
I'm not
and
saying that he is. He was born in Hawaii. of
Congress
course.
isn't going to do a darn thing. He was born in Kenya. He does never belong.
Well, I'm just asking you because
be
you're
the
the expert.
president.
I'm asking you, don't you think it would make sense if it was true? And again, I don't know anything about this. So if there's anybody listening to this show that I should be afraid of, I don't know anything that I'm about to ask. But don't you think that there should be a delegation going over and putting together and having Matlock
no,
spill it all out?
because he runs. He is the leader of the Democrat regime right,
Right, but
now.
there's
He's the leader of the Democrat regime, and no one. And
right,
people
but
in
why
Congress
isn't
know this.
Huckabee over there with the coalition?
Because people in Congress know this, and you know what? They will no longer have a job or a place in Congress
Yeah.
if they go against.
Why isn't Mike Lindell
Obama,
over there doing
but you
this?
missed-
What
you
good
missed
does it do,
something.
though? Yeah, go ahead, Tab.
about his grandma. His grandmother, Obama's grandmother, who lives in Kenya, made a statement that he was born in Kenya,
Yeah.
and she can prove it. He went over there to visit her, and as soon as he left, she died.
Mm.
And I'm not saying that he's responsible for her death, but there are a lot of people who believe that he had basically a hit placed on her because before she died, she wanted to reveal to the world and was starting to talk, and maybe her senility, I don't know, about him
she
truly
dead?
being born in.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, that's what I
after
said. She
the
just
trip.
died.
What if Trump was born in Scotland? Don't you think that there would be 5,000 Democrats running around Scotland trying to find out his birth certificate?
Of course.
And every single day, like looking under every single 4-leaf clover, or rock, or whatever the hell they were looking
Of
for.
course. Well, he would have never made it this far.
Alex
Okay.
makes a great point, Eric. The reason why you're not doing it's high political risk with no reward.
Okay.
And that makes
There you
sense
go.
to me.
There's sometimes the
It would be
sometimes
political
the-
suicide.
Sometimes the simplest answer is the right answer. That's exactly right, Alex. I believe that.
And that's where it goes. I mean, those things happen. It's just bizarre that Malik.
And for the record, I don't believe all this stuff. For the record, this is very odd. Right.
I believe all of
For
it.
the record, I believe if it was really true, someone would find out. This isn't UFOs.
Hold on, I got a picture for you.
Coming from the
If
guy that if
somebody-
he doesn't see it on Fox 2 doesn't believe it.
Well, they okay.
I got
there
a
we go.
picture
And
for
I
you.
don't
That
mean that
was-
to be mean or
Eric,
That
derogatory.
was touche. That was
Eric,
a
but
good one.
it's
Look
true.
at your screen.
All
Okay,
right.
here we go.
This is the Obama's best friends
Oh, yeah.
and their children
Okay.
and the Obamas.
I don't know that I'm ready for this. Okay, I'm going to get
And take your time, Eric, and check it out. This is the family that I brought up earlier. They're one of their best friend couples. And look at the
Yeah.
daughters.
Oh, damn. Oh, damn.
Yeah. That's what we're talking about.
Well-
and Eric, just because something should be found out does not mean it's going to be found
Okay.
out.
Or discussed. It's never going to be discussed on mainstream news because Obama, who runs the Democrat regime, is also running all of the media.
Nice job, Scotty.
Scotty. Scotty is an expert. I'm an expert on Les Pauls. I'm not an expert on the Obamas. But me and him are very similar that way.
I mean, look at that.
Crazy.
It's all a sham. It's all a sham. And just like Lizzie said, there's a lot of people who think that the daughters are actually even raised by these people and they call them best friends. But, just so that they can all be close to the girls all the time.
Well, they vacation together. It'd be very eerie that they all
So
look
do they know who
exactly
their
alike.
parents are?
Well, they think that, we don't know what's going on internally. We don't know what
So
the
is-
girls
if-
know.
Todd says he's going to get
I
drunk
mean, we can
tonight.
just guess.
So do these
Somebody else
girls
said they need a mental health
have
day.
a thumb over the parents saying if you ground me one more time, I am going to tell everybody.
Maybe. Who knows?
Give me the keys to the yacht
I'm
right
going
now.
to the press.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't know. No one knows.
I want sideline tickets to the Chargers Rams game.
Jeannie says, honestly, the oldest one does look like Michelle. Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
The cheekbones
yeah.
from the dad to the left.
The
It's
friend,
hard to
yeah,
tell.
that dad on the left, man. Those are his kids.
A lot
I
of
mean,
kids
if
don't
you-
look like their parents. It's tough to tell.
And that is where a bad press comes in. What a shame.
They definitely look more like
Donna
the friends
says, I
than
feel
the
drunk and I don't
parents.
drink. Going
Tonight.
through all this stuff. Hey, once again, we didn't say, hey, let's go focus on the Obamas. This was
I know. How did
although
we
we
get here?
should.
Malik. This was Malik,
Malik.
Obama tweeting all of this stuff across the country. Michelle Obama running for president and calling her a he, she, and calling Barack a he, she.
Before we go and go to a different subject, I want to touch base on what you just said. You said we didn't just come up with this randomly and decide to talk about the Obamas today. I think people should talk about the Obamas more, not because Michelle could potentially be a tranny. It's because of the situation that the sham that was played on this country, the sham that is still being played on this country, because people need to do more deep dives on the Obamas and they need to go back and they need to look, why were they put in place? Why are they the ones running the Democrat regime? What is all of this about? Why did they lie to us? Why did they pick this guy out of nowhere and groom him to be the president, put him into place? And look what he did. He just completely destroyed our country in the time he was in office. Completely
Well, I think
destroyed it.
Biden did more damage than he did.
Well, Obama, trust me, Obama kicked it off and the Biden regime continues. Biden's too busy right now just undoing everything Trump did. But people should talk about Obama more.
Well, Malik is, and I know he's been around. I just looked at the comment line. I know he's been making news for years, but this is now talking about a presidential run by Michelle, and calling her
Yes, so
a
true.
he, she in the midst of all the transgender
He
talk
knows
that's going
something.
on
It's
around.
his brother.
That's
it's his
why.
brother.
Or half brother.
His half brother, he knows something. Come on.
Of course he knows something.
Hey, I heard.
He's been hearing about him his entire life. He knows everything.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, you might not.
And
know
they were
what
very
his-
close at one point. They were in each other's weddings. They were best men at each
Oh,
other's
I didn't
weddings.
know that.
Yeah, they were.
You have done the deep dive.
Well, that's why I was almost late this morning because I wanted to look into this. And no, they at one point they were actually
Finkel
close.
is Einhorn.
What's going to come
Thank
out
you,
first?
Aaron.
What's going to come out first? UFOs landing on the White House lawn or Michelle Obama?
UFOs landing.
UFOs.
Oh! Lawn. That's a great question, Eric.
What if it happened on the same day?
Oh my God! Yes, that would be like pretty good look. That'd be fun TV for the day. That's for sure.
Obama is Biden.
Yeah.
Oh my
Biden
gosh.
is
Robert
Obama.
Peterball. Maybe Robert, you can add this. Robert says, look for Big Mike's college football picture.
What?
Allegedly, Michelle played college football for like 1 or 2 years and then disappeared. Out of
Go,
nowhere.
Scotty. Go.
I
This
don't
is
know.
right up your alley.
I just saw one of those pictures this morning.
Hey, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to run our partners, our advertisers. If you need any of their products, please check them out. We love them or they wouldn't be on the show. They've combined with us. You help us out when you buy from them as well. And let them know you heard about them from cancelthisshow.com. We'll be back in 2 minutes. We'll look for pictures. We'll continue this talk. We also need to find some time to get into, if we possibly can, because we just have good conversations and we just let them go wherever they possibly can. But we've got a couple other topics that were pretty big today. For example, is it just by chance 18 to 20,000 cows died in a dairy?
I saw that
20 wasn't it 22 something?
18. Well, 18 to 20 is what I heard.
in an
Really?
explosion. How do you take out 18,000 cows quickly?
And there's been well over 100 similar incidents across the country
And we're also
between food and animals.
Yeah,
and
they
we're
do.
being told that our economy, the economy is going to go down because of the bank situations where it's inevitable. And you got 3 Republican representatives now trying to reintroduce the gold standard for the first time.
Good.
Needs
in
to be
50
done.
years.
Yeah.
We'll get into it all. We'll try to find those pictures. Like, subscribe, share the show. We appreciate it. It's cancelthisshow.com. Scotty Gherkin, Eric Johnson, Tabitha Hassel. I'm Vic Faust, Lizzie Sparks running the comments. Back with more right after this.
This is Dr. Mahesh Bhagway. I'm an orthopedic surgeon here in St. Louis for over the last 20 years. I went to Washington University. I got my medical degree at St. Louis University. From local high school athletes, college athletes, weekend warriors, injured workers, and even Cardinal baseball players, I've treated them all. Our practice strives to personalize care with every new patient being seen by me. To find me, contact my staff at drbagwe.com. That's DRBAGWE.com. Hopefully you don't need me, but if you do, you can find me now.
White Glove Exotic Services is St. Louis's first concierge vehicle service center. Alex David's team is passionate, certified technicians. They have industry-leading tools and equipment. They do it all. They pick up and deliver your car, hands-free. Plus, they have elite detailing service, customized PPF wraps and tinting, and inspection and titling assistance. White Glove also specializes in logistics and storing options, vehicle listings, and consignment. White Glove Exotic Services. Check them out at cancelthisshow.com.
Marco, wait, what? No response? Hi, I'm Curtis Sparks with Complete Auto Body and Repair, offering full service and auto repair to St. Louis and St. Charles. We are looking for someone to say polo. That's right, we are hiring. We want you now. If you would like to work in a well-paying environment, then you owe it to yourself to stop by one of our 6 Complete Auto Body and Repair locations. Will you help me find that missing person? Please call me directly at 636-488-HIRE. That's right, 636-488-4473.
Dad, and service.
Oh yeah, and service.
He fixed the cars.
Carroll House has the largest selection of solid wood with the hottest new styles. Real furniture that's built to last, like our solid bedrooms, living rooms, and dining from Kincaid. Our volume enables us to save you a lot of money, especially during solid wood sale. Plus, get free financing, fast free delivery, and free in-home design. So for solid wood, sweet styles, and solid service since 1964, shop over 3 football fields of furniture at Carroll House, because you like nice things.
Hey guys, welcome back to cancelthisshow.com. Also want to give a big shout out to Renewal by Anderson. We learned about windows the other day. It's the time of the year. If you want to get a proposal, if you want to learn a little about how to make your house a little bit more energy efficient, if you want to add more value to your home, you got to go to our website, cancelthisshow.com. Click on the partners page for Renewal by Anderson. You get a free quote. You can sign up right there on our website. You can also give them a call. The number's there as well. Learned a ton the other day about windows. They're simply the best in St. Louis. Kevin Malutnik showed us his before and after pictures. Awesome. Check out Renewal by Anderson. They'll get right back to you. 38 crews just in the Missouri area, but they have companies all across the country. We know we have people listening all over the country. If you give them a call at that number or sign in, they'll find the local branch of Renewal by Anderson for you. Oh, look at that, Scotty. That was the difference right there.
Isn't that amazing?
Hell yeah, that's amazing. Absolutely amazing. I mean, seriously, when you look at that, the difference. That kind of looks like Eric's house, doesn't it?
Yeah, right.
The one that Tabitha talks about, the Wentzville house.
No, this has multiple stories and wonderful windows.
What do you mean multiple stories?
Mine's not that big. Not quite.
It is cancelthisshow.com. Scotty Gherkin's here. Lizzie Sparks running the comment line. Eric Johnson, Tabitha Hassel. I'm Vic Faust. Did we find any pictures during the break? Did anybody send us anything of football? Allegedly some football pics because of Michael.
We did receive a photo. I'll have to go back.
We did? From who?
And see, from our buddy Glenn.
Oh, of Michael?
Here, I'll show it to you before you can decide if we want to use it.
Well, we already showed that. That was in the video.
Oh, I don't remember.
Editorial decision making. It's awesome.
That was in, yeah, exactly. Anyway, we'll go from there. We appreciate everybody jumping back in with us. We focused on the Malik Obama thing. If anything else comes up, I'll be following. Trust me. This is getting interesting, especially as we get close to an election.
Here's a little headline for you before you move on.
What's that?
Joe Biden's doomsday plane, quote unquote, which is what the president uses in the event of nuclear war, was spotted flying over Wales, where he is right now.
Tabitha?
Or in the area where he is right now.
Tabitha, do you make anything from that?
Not really. That plane's spotted all over the place for different reasons. But, I mean, it could be, right now we're at a very heightened alert of nuclear war. We're at a heightened alert. Mm-hmm. We're a little higher on the DEFCON scale than what we once were. And Russia continues to make new threats. So I would think that anywhere that Biden is, they're going to be nearby, especially when he's traveling overseas. And he's already, look at all the threats he's had already in Ireland. They allegedly foiled a bombing plot for his arrival. Gunmen opened fire when one of his staff was meeting. I mean, there's been a lot going on in Ireland.
It's hard for me to trust all of it. It is.
I don't trust anything anymore.
Which is why I don't trust the other situation. Oh, Robert says he's driving. Okay, Robert. If and when you get a picture of Michael's college football playing days, as you say, Michelle Obama, Michael, send it. We'll take a look at it.
Yeah.
We'll send it because as Tabitha said, you don't find stuff like that just sitting around anymore.
No.
She says, internet has been scrubbed from anything. Lisa says, my comments have been stopped. Lizzie said a comment she made was immediately deleted.
Because the government controls social media.
I don't know. I mean, we're just. You
cannot have a conversation about Obama.
Why?
And Michelle in this context without getting deleted.
Because they have all kinds of
but all we're doing is repeating what Malik
Obama.
We're only repeating what Malik Obama said.
But we're also talking about the leader of the world these days, and that would be Obama.
Explain to me what you're talking about with scrubbed on this show or on some other post.
Talking about
in general.
Just in general, like I said, there's nothing out there about his students, about his teachers, about his friends, about his kids' friends. There's no one out there, period. Well, where's his cousins? Where's his childhood good friends? Where are all of the people? Think about your own life and all the people you've interacted with.
You know what?
Your entire life. And if you became president and they all just disappeared.
I'll tell you why this is not true. Okay.
What's not true?
That Michelle is not Michael or vice versa, whatever, is because it's such a non-story. They liked Obama. They didn't have to like Michelle. They could have literally come out.
Who's they?
The American people, the public. They could have come out and said that I am married to Michael, who is now Michelle, and they could have been super. They might have gotten
never
more
been
votes.
elected. He would have never
No,
been
They might
elected.
have. They might have
Never-
gotten
not
more
at that-
votes.
Not at that
Not
time.
a chance.
Really?
The majority of Democrats don't support that lifestyle either.
Really? So
No.
wait a minute. So what would this would
That's
have
why
been?
we talk about the 2% rule. That's the folks on the very far 2% left.
So this would have been
America
2008.
is not ready for that yet, and definitely wasn't ready for it back then.
I see. I disagree, but maybe you're right. I don't know.
You have every right
I
to
do.
disagree.
I think that the Oprah Winfrey's of the world would have still pushed her over. They would have just expedited this transgender thing, which they're doing right now. I think people would. The crowd that he had in Chicago the night that he won the presidency was overwhelming. It was insane.
Well, of course, it was a different time, Eric.
You're right. It was a different time.
And there are a lot of Democrats will never believe us when we talk about these things. They will
Yeah.
never believe that Michelle could be a man. They look at the photos and they think, oh, it's photoshopped. You know, that they come up with an excuse for everything to not believe.
The one thing that is not photoshopped, the one thing that is not edited, is the press conference that Obama has at the White House with everybody there calling Michelle Michael.
That's right.
Eric, that's not an accident.
Okay.
Eric, explain that.
No, it's a Freudian slip. Basically, in the middle
A Freudian slip?
in the middle of cameras, he basically had to retract what his brain was trying to not say. That's what it is. It's very hard.
But you're saying that Michelle's name really is Mike
I don't
or
know
Michael.
that. I don't know that at all. I'm just saying that's what would have happened.
It really is that?
That's my final answer, and I'm sticking to it.
I'm curious why you don't want to believe that all of this could be.
Of course,
because
he believes it.
because if it's
Eric
true,
said he
Eric
doesn't.
knows it's true.
because
He
if
said
it's
he
true,
doesn't.
then the nefariousness of our United States government is something that you have to go across
Yeah.
the board.
Then he has to really put that into his brain.
Yeah.
So you're
It would
trying
be
to
a
protect
key.
you're trying to protect your brain by not believing that it's true. Does that make sense?
There's a reason he's called Michelle Michael several times. I mean, it's
Well, maybe.
Yeah.
To me, right now, it's a non-starter. I think you would have 70% of the people saying,
well, of
"Oh,
course
this
not.
is so great! This is oh my God,
Not-
ding
I
dong!
don't think
There's
so.
no
Ding
way.
dong, the witch is
No,
dead."
maybe the far left 2%, and that would be it.
I think you'd have a bunch of people from Troy going, "What the hell's going on now?" But
The world
majority
is
of the
not
people,
ready for that.
I think
yet.
you would have all of the Clayton people going, "This is fantastic." All
No.
the Ladue people would be
Nope.
going, "This is fantastic." All the St. Louis people, "This is awesome." St. Charles would be going, "Well, that's weird."
Well, we know that's not true because Trump supporters make up the majority of this country. So we already know that can't be true.
Okay.
Switching topics on cancelthisshow.com. If we get the picture of Michael in his football gear, we'll show you, and then you can make the decision yourself. All right. 18 to 22,000 cows, all of a sudden, poof, die, gone, just like that in the Texas Panhandle. Allegedly, one of the machines, they called it the sucker machine, got overheated and blew up and killed all of these cows.
The sucker machine.
One woman at the plant at the time. That's it. One woman at the plant. And it just was a freak accident.
There's no way.
I'm not
Freak
buying
accident.
I'm not buying it.
There's no way I'm going to say what I'm thinking.
That's probably a
The
good thing.
sucker machine
The sucker
and an
machine.
explosion. No, I'm out on this one.
Eric, stop it.
So here's the
Family
deal.
show, Eric.
I know. It is suspicious because
You
what
did see this, right?
I did.
You know.
because all of these food plants are exploding all over the place.
Aha.
And not just food plants, oil refineries. I mean, look at all of the things that have happened in this country over the past 2 to 3 years. All of the food processing plants that have burned, all of the oil refineries that have had explosions and burned.
Yeah.
Well, now we have substations being shot at.
What's the point of this?
The point is that there are people in this country who are nefarious, who are working, in my opinion, at the government's will, who are being paid to go around and do these things. And I absolutely believe, and as does the FBI, that the Antifa folks and RevCom, those types of folks, are behind a lot of these attacks. But when it comes to these food processing plants, they will never admit to that. Everything's just a big accident.
I mean, seriously, your opinions are welcome. Cancelthisshow.com.
Yeah.
And you know what? And it's always
this is suspicious.
It's always the food
least.
they want to get rid of.
Well, it's just it's one after another.
Bingo.
There's no fire at a cricket factory or a cricket farm.
chickens,
dairy,
eggs. What's
Produce.
what's been in the news lately for climate control people? Cows. Cows somehow. God's creation is bad for our world. We've got to get rid of cows.
Preach, Vic.
And then what happens? 18 to 22,000 cows disappear just like that.
And look at avian flu. I mean, they're saying right now in China, avian flu is so rampant that they're running out of places to bury all of the dead chickens. Here in the United States, we've killed, I think I read like 2 million chickens and turkeys because of avian flu. I mean, our government has to be behind this in some way.
Well, that's what I was getting at when you were talking about RevCom and whether they're the government subcontracting out now.
There's no question that they are. There's reports about it. There's no question that's happening.
But don't think for a second, oh, yeah, we don't want cows. Cows are bad. And then all of a sudden cows disappear. Oh, yeah. And then there's fires. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The multiple fire process. And don't Google. If you Google will tell you, oh, well, it's not uncommon for all of these food processing plants to come under fire, or all of these situations where a lack of food, it's normal. It happens.
Nope.
No, it's a new thing.
And then shutting down the Abbott Labs for baby formula and other formula, not just baby formula. It's all
Tab, you are
has
good.
to be all
I forgot about that.
tied together. They want to destroy our food supply because when you control the food, you control the people.
Are the labs coming back online? Are they?
Well, the Abbott Labs were back, and then they shut them down again. I don't know where they stand right now. I think they're back open.
Okay. So,
and it turned out that the couple of babies that died, which is awful, the bacteria they had didn't even match what was at Abbott Labs. It was all just a sham.
Oh my gosh!
From the beginning.
Tabitha Hassel is fascinating.
When did that?
She knows.
When did that occur? Can you remember when that occurred?
Oh,
that was 2 years ago.
Not quite 2 years ago.
I couldn't remember.
About
when
a year ago.
It was 2 years ago. It was the beginning of COVID.
Well, we haven't. No.
I think it was
long after that with the baby formula situation. Yeah. No, because it was on when I was on a different show.
21.
We were together during
21-ish,
COVID, so.
Correct?
Yeah, and we had somebody bring up the comment of the train derailments. I get that, and that's true. It's certainly questionable, but the fact of the matter remains, we're talking about the food aspect of everything that's going on as well.
And we have to, and the FBI did release a report that has actually blamed Antifa for causing chaos, and they believe that Antifa is behind potentially some of these train derailments, as well as some of these substation attacks. So why wouldn't they, or couldn't they, be behind?
Well, it's a weird
fires?
Commodity that reproduces itself. So I don't know how long it would take to bring these cows back online, or have him reproduce, but it seems
a long time.
Would it be a long? Well, but I mean, how many
for
more?
20,000 cows?
But to me, 20,000 cows sounds like a lot. But is it in the grand scheme of things?
Not in the grand scheme of things.
Yes, right.
No, because remember, what was it a year or so ago? We had the 10 to 15,000 cows that died in Kansas, and they said it was due to heat. Do you remember that?
No.
And then a lot of people said, no, that there's no way. They had to have been poisoned or something happened. And the farmers came forward and they said, there's no way that all these cattle died because of heat. Where we have heat here all the time. So what is the
payoff pitch for 18,000 cows going by?
Because they want
it only brings up the price of a thing of milk by a penny.
Because you're not going to need to buy milk soon. You know what it is the government. We know they're manufacturing lab-grown meat. It's already making its way in restaurants.
Yum.
All the way across the country, really across the world.
Is it good?
They want you to eat alternate proteins, which is crickets and mealworms. And whenever they only need a handful of cows. Seriously. A handful of cows.
Just the way you said it.
I know.
I don't even know what I said.
Imagine if Tabitha was your mom.
No, it's because it's common for you, but everybody else says, yeah, they want you to eat crickets and mealworms.
But it's true.
Come to the table and eat your crickets.
But I think more people are aware of that than what we sometimes give them credit for.
Okay.
I can guarantee you anyone that listens to the show is already aware.
Well, yeah, us,
I know.
That's not a ton.
Yeah,
if you talk to, no, there are because we
Tabitha,
are the majority.
If I go out today and start talking about mealworms and crickets, people in my normal daily life, outside here, people are like,
if they're Democrats, probably.
What?
But if you talk to other conservatives, most know.
Okay. I got pissed. And then there was videos. I didn't want to show it. Where you hear the cows, I mean,
it's awful. It's sad.
The cows squealing
it's a
as they die in this fire. And come on, there is no way in hell 20,000 cows are going to die.
You think they would go pretty quick with an explosion, though.
And nobody's around taking care of a massive facility except one person.
Yeah.
Well,
come on.
Well, one of
I'm
these
not-
days, we're all going to be ingesting little green liquid, and that's going to be our
Okay, here we go.
food.
Will we
Here we
be
go.
fit?
Yes.
Okay, we would use less calories anyway. I would take the green liquid over a McDonald's hamburger any day.
But
Isn't, I mean, the control of the food is ultimate control, isn't it? COVID didn't do it, right?
Yeah.
They saw whenever in COVID how they could control us. They saw with the baby formula shortage how they could control people. Why wouldn't they control our food?
well, it makes sense. It's another Eric. It's another step in that direction
Mm-hmm.
of world order, of controlling. You need to come to us before you do anything. Just like the money issue that we've been talking about, when central bank gets involved, and then they have a direct link to everything that you purchase and can turn on or turn off your ability to purchase. Yes, I know it's hard it's difficult even for me to process, Eric, when I think, okay, could it be here? Yeah, at some point it could be here. Yeah, of course it could be. But we've only seen movies of things like this.
I remind myself sometimes that when I was 16 years old, I used to work at a Vic Tanny. Remember Vic Tanny?
Yeah, which one did you work at?
It was the one.
That's so bizarre.
It was on 94. It was on
I was
94.
I was in a conversation last night about Vic
It was the
Tanny,
one with the pool.
and you brought Vic Tanny up.
Okay. Well, anyway,
It was a health club here.
Oh, I remember when I used to hang out
Yeah.
at Harry's. The owners used to hang out there.
That's right.
back in the
Everybody did.
day.
It was the meat market of St. Charles. But we would, we were tasked at signing people up and whatever, and we all had white Reeboks on back in the day, and we were all styling and profiling. And there was this
Your
one
cutoff shirt.
And there was this one guy, I'll never forget his face. He worked out slightly, maybe lifted one weight a day, but he was there to have conversations about how the New World Order was taking over, and you have to do everything in your power to understand. And he would talk about things that were coming, and we were all like that.
In the 80s or 90s?
Oh yeah, this was in the 80s, definitely. and I was like, that guy is nuts. Just leave him alone. He's got the premium membership or whatever. And he would do that. He would just talk to people about the New World Order, and he would talk to people about all the stuff that Tabitha talks about.
I never heard. In the 80s, I was like a child, but
and we were all like,
and I didn't
just
live here.
leave him alone. And now, all that stuff that he was talking about, it's like he was a time traveler. And all the stuff that he was talking about way back in the day about China and the dollar and all this stuff is finally starting to come true. How we're going to lose our place. We're going to be like Rome. You know, I mean, it was like, okay, leave him alone. He'll be fine. Just give him a protein shake or something like that. And now, and I feel like that's what we have become. We've become that guy that walks around the gym spouting all these weird conspiracy theories.
Well, but it's not conspiracy. The government has told us they want us to eat their lab-grown meat. I mean, they're putting it out in restaurants. They're saying they don't want livestock. I mean, they're telling us it's not a conspiracy theory. They're telling us exactly what they want to do. But at the same time, think about this. People are fighting back in their own way. Donna says, "Is there any good news?" I mean, look at
thank you,
look
Donna.
at the reemergence of homesteading.
What's the good news?
People who are buying swaths of land and they're growing their own food and their own vegetables. They're planting berries. I'm hoping to do the same thing within the next year. I mean, people are fighting back by becoming self-sufficient themselves.
Is that the good news?
I think it's very good news. We're going to talk about some other good news shortly with the gold-backed dollar. But there's a lot of good news out there.
But don't you think that the main good news, if it was me, and Donna was right, give us some good news. Here's how the good news would have to go from Vic Faust. Vic would have to say, Eric, get in here. What? Everything that we've been talking about is launching and it's all coming true. They have all these documents now that are coming out, and the world is finally starting to see behind the screen. Like when the Wizard of Oz, when they got to the end of the Yellow Brick Road.
Be good? So
that would be the best news. Is then you wouldn't have to trick your mind into thinking that we're living in a normal world.
You're the only one tricking your mind because the rest of us are very open and understanding.
Is Vic?
But yes.
Do you think Vic is?
Yes.
About
he's
what?
Not. Yes, he is. I think Vic knows the reality in most situations.
Okay. No, I try to, but there is,
and he's learning still too.
Yeah,
and we're all learning. I'm learning. I'm learning every day.
That's the good news, Donna.
But
good
Eric,
job.
here's the problem that you have too, though. When you bring up conspiracy theorists just a couple minutes ago, and Tabitha's like, or truth tellers, as we see information. But if you bring up something that doesn't go with the every ordinary message that you hear on a daily basis, whether somebody is right or wrong, you can get censured. A Republican member of Arizona's House of Representatives was expelled yesterday following a bipartisan vote. I mean, they voted 46-13 to expel Representative Liz Harris. They said that she violated their House ethics rules because she invited a woman named Jacqueline Breger to the hearing who made claims of criminal activity that she said were started by Democratic Governor Katie Hobbs and other politicians that included taking bribes from the Mexican drug cartel, which also included the vote in Arizona with Maricopa County. So what did they do? They kicked her out, and then they expelled Representative Liz Harris because she brought her to testify.
Craziness.
So before you bring somebody to hear all sides of a story, now you have to think twice, or you could be canceled, or you could face the consequences.
Yeah.
I found it very interesting, though.
Liberals can get canceled, and they're not canceled. They just get a committee to reinstate them, like the two guys down in Tennessee. And that's unbelievable to me. It's like the people have spoken. You're not the only people in the damn state. You broke the rules. Get out of here. They're liberals, and they go back to their city councils and say, "No, we'll just send you right on back there." But if it's a Republican, boy, it's like it's just that level of what's good for the goose is not good for the gander drives me nuts. It really does.
The double standard.
Yeah. It just absolutely drives me crazy.
Well, then everybody better get out and vote so we can stop the double standard.
Well, Tabitha, and then speaking of Arizona, you had 3 representatives there, all Republican. They introduced a new bill, the H.R. 2435, the Gold Standard Restoration Act, to facilitate the repegging of the volatile Federal Reserve note to a fixed weight of gold bullion. Tabitha, I love the idea, but I don't think it's going to happen.
I don't think it's going to happen because the people in charge don't actually want to save our country. So, no, it's probably not going to happen.
The Federal Reserve would be given 24 months to publicly disclose all gold holdings and gold transactions, at which time the Federal Reserve note dollar would be formally repositioned to a fixed weight of gold at its then market price.
You mean like Russia did?
Like bingo, Tabitha. This is exactly how Russia has. Remember when Joe Biden, we're going to bring Russia to their knees over this Ukraine. Yeah, this lifted Russia up.
Yes, it did.
They attached their energy to gold. You had to pay them in gold. And now Russia is so much better off. Well, they were. I mean, I know they're paying a lot of money out for the war, but they have positioned themselves right now because of gold.
And that's what's bringing Russia and China together, because they are coming up with a gold-backed cryptocurrency. You know, it's like a gold-backed Bitcoin is what the two of them are talking about right now.
Eric, there's several monetary experts. They said that a return to a gold standard,
of course,
it's the only way.
Would curtail the economic damage caused by inflation.
Of course, it makes sense. What's the problem?
It won't happen because A, they have to reveal how much gold they have. That's part of the process.
Okay.
And B, they want the gold for themselves. They don't care about us worker bees. We are just the serfs of the country. We're the worker bees. They don't care if our money completely falters because that does not affect them.
And you
at
couldn't
all.
print money anymore and put $1 trillion stimulus.
Money would
packages
actually
together
be
anymore.
real money.
Is gold really gone? I just looked at the comment.
What?
Jeff says
Fort
gold
Knox is gone?
Gold is gone.
Our gold is allegedly gone. I don't know how true it is,
What?
but that's what we hear.
Wait a minute.
And that's
that
why the
cannot be
government is
true.
trying to confiscate gold.
I don't know.
People say Fort Knox is empty. I don't know the truth.
But this
that.
Gold Standard Restoration Act would also make several findings as to the harm that the Federal Reserve System
that's right.
has inflicted on everyday Americans. And I don't see how that would be allowed to be put out there. A little history lesson for you. It was Nixon who temporarily suspended gold backing of America's monetary system in 1971.
It would show you that your dollar's really worth about 5 cents.
Okay, so according to this, I wish I knew there was source, but we hold, I don't even know how much this is worth, but Fort Knox still holds 143.7 million troy ounces of gold.
That's what they say.
And they had to build new vaults to hold it.
But who has seen it?
Oh, yeah, who has seen
has seen it?
Yeah,
I don't
who
know.
knows?
I'm just reporting what I'm reporting.
I agree. I know that's what they say. Do we believe anything they say?
You would think in this day of social media, you might get a picture somewhere. Somebody sneaks a picture.
Exactly.
If you're able to
I
actually
think they
go in.
did that not too long ago. They did give it a tour and they did show this stuff, and it is weird because they do have gold bars.
Like they landed on the moon.
But there are rooms at Fort Knox where they just throw gold in the middle of these old rooms, and it's kind of laid out all over the place.
I have to see it to believe it, and right now I don't believe it. I think that if we knew what this country has really done to us and our fake money system, we would all be in Washington D.C. right now burning down the White House.
People are too stupid to actually understand the question. It's like you don't even know the questions to ask. As most Americans, we're very special on this show because we do know the questions to ask. And I'm floored, and I learn something new every day on this show. But if you are in Woodstock, Illinois, right outside of Chicago, you are not worried about the things that we're talking about right now.
Why would you say that? I think people everywhere are worried about exactly.
You are
what
worried
we're
about
talking
getting a government-sponsored job, being making $24 an hour, trying to get a pension in the next 40 years. That's what you are worried about. I don't think that people are worried about the things that we talk about on this show.
I completely disagree with
I
you.
don't know.
I completely disagree.
Then where's the sense of urgency?
I couldn't disagree
and how
with
come
you
liberals
more,
and then
fact.
how come liberals are keep winning elections? So
because
I think
they
you're wrong.
cheat. They keep winning elections because they cheat.
If they
That's
knew
why.
that these issues were so
I think
important,
people are very concerned with money and where their dollar goes. There's no question about it.
If they thought these were such important questions, they wouldn't. I sincerely believe that represent are the Supreme Court judge that won up in Wisconsin or Michigan, Wisconsin. She won on an abortion mandate.
Yeah, of course she did.
And I'm like, what?
Now you know.
You got to be kidding me.
No, Eric. Now you know, and it's the marketing that you talked about.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. So that's why I say these are very important issues. These kids, your kids, my kids, are not going to be privy to the lifestyle of the dollar that we were fortunate.
Of course they're not.
Well, a lot of people aren't going to be prepared for what's coming either, and that's also very unfortunate. So I am very thankful that a lot of people do understand what's going on. I think everyone understands about where their dollar goes these days, because how can you not when you grocery shop? And somebody just posted a photo online of a thing of I hate mayonnaise, but it was like $9 for this little tube of mayonnaise.
Hey, leave mayonnaise alone.
I'm like, what is going on in this world? It's insane, Eric. Everybody has to be aware, whether they admit it or not, that you're not getting as much for your dollar as you used to. And it's going to get worse.
The other issue that we have
this is Good News Thursday, Tab. For every bad piece of news, you have to bring up two pieces of good news.
It's but Eric, it's
like Trump.
Issues we have
for every
to
one piece of regulation, he got rid of two. Go ahead.
When I build my garden of Eden and have all my fruit trees and my berry plants, I will let you come and eat some fruit when the war starts.
Eric, the GDP.
What war? There's not going to be a war. There'll be U-Haul will just go out of business because they want so many trucks to rent.
They're already there.
But Eric, from the financial standpoint, which goes on that, is that there's tighter bank lending now for 2023. And that's causing some issues in the economy as well. The bank problems that we had, of course, the American banks going under, is now the International Monetary Fund estimated they're warning that rising interest rates now pose a threat to the global financial system on top of it, meaning that our GDP is decreasing, the interest rates are going to continue to go up, and the economy is going to be stagnant.
And guess whose economy is getting stronger every single day? That would be countries like Russia, countries like
Iran,
China, Saudi Arabia. All of the countries that are part of BRICS or are joining BRICS, their economies are getting stronger. It's like, think about when you go back to history and you think about the Ottoman Empire, the Roman Empire. All empires have fallen, and it's unfortunate that.
Do you think
the
that
Biden
the biggest culprit in this whole thing, Vic? I'm going to ask you.
We got $33 trillion in debt, and I'll explain it in a second.
Do you think the biggest culprit in everything we talk about on this show is the lack of a reputable media?
Oh, it starts there.
No, I'm going to ask you. Yeah. I'll ask you this one more time. Do you think that the biggest traitors in this country are the guys that have the opportunity to ask Biden a question and go, "Hey, are you bringing Hunter on your trip?" When you could ask him, "What's going on with A, B, C, D, E, F, and G? Are you competent enough to take my question? Can you sit down and take a test? The American people are super worried about gas prices. Mr. President, can you sit down and tell me about what's going on with BRICS?" Do you think? I think the Benedict Arnold, excuse me, media, is the media,
Of course
because
it
you
is.
guys are lying by omission.
They 100%.
I cannot take that.
But it's not
It's
just
state-ran media.
Well, it's not just the media. Number one, you've got a president by title that won't answer questions, that he can't do it. And every Democrat knows, they know what's going on. Their hate of Trump goes over their knowledge of what they know is going on in this country. And that's the pride issue that I talk about all the time. There's such a pride issue. Instead of admitting that the man that they voted for has ruined this country, as opposed to the man that they hated was the best president this country has ever had for America. Are you kidding me? Eric, he won't talk. That's the big thing.
But that's
then you have
I don't blame him. I don't
then
blame him.
you have Karine talking, who's now being corrected by the White House staff on a weekly basis because she's the worst.
Yeah.
She keeps making such big
Now,
mistakes.
she's the worst press
Such big
secretary
mistakes.
we've ever had, with the worst vice president, with the worst president. It all makes sense.
Yeah,
Yes,
it makes
Eric,
sense to me. And I
Eric,
don't.
anybody with half a brain
Again.
knows that the national media is liberally biased. I
Okay,
worked
that's
in it.
fine.
I worked in it for
I get you.
25 years.
I understand that,
It
but
is
if
not
I was
a
going,
place that gives every side of.
I'll tell you what. If I was going to protest, and if I was Tabitha Hassel, who has this amazing ability to gather hundreds of thousands of people around her, if I was to protest, I would have a bunch of Volkswagen buses on my way to CBS, NBC. I would sit outside of those doors. I wouldn't
Eric,
give a damn
and
about
it
the
wouldn't
White
do
House.
you one
Eric,
bit of
I
good.
wouldn't care. I would make sure that everybody knew that my focus was on NBC, CBS, and ABC.
Eric,
Wouldn't matter.
AON is trying.
Oh my God, so are we.
I'm just telling you. And AON,
Come on, man.
AON is trying. We've talked about the good job that they do. We've
Come on.
talked about them on this show.
I'm
several
talking
times.
Lester Holt needs to come out and
Lester
talk.
Holt is a piece of you know what.
Well, that's mean.
He is a joke. He takes money from George Soros, and I'm not just saying I
would just say
connected the
this.
dots.
I would say this. Look,
He's
we're not telling
an
you.
honest
I understand.
broadcaster.
But the question for me is, Lester, or
And you
whoever else.
still give him credit. You give him
What?
credibility.
I don't give him credit, but here's the hardcore truth. There's people, and I'm surrounded by them every day. I got so many liberal friends in my
They're
circle.
Democrats.
It is
Nothing's
crazy.
going to change.
I have
their
liberal
mind.
friends too.
And they don't watch TV at all. They definitely don't watch this show. And basically, they talk, Eric, you're a conspiracy theorist. You're nuts. Come on. And I go, yeah, you're probably right. But if Lester Holt came on the big screen and said, today we got a chance to sit down with Biden and ask him some tough questions, well, there would be 100 million people wanting to tune in to watch that, would they not?
I would to make fun of him. I wouldn't do it to actually learn anything.
He can't answer questions.
He can't answer questions, and what he does, he's not going
I
to tell
see
the
your
You're
truth.
making my point.
Yeah,
I mean,
see
if
your
I
point.
was
see your point.
if I was the White House team, I would keep him in a bunker and never
They
show
do.
him.
It's called his basement in
But
Delaware.
that's not his problem. It's the media's problem.
But Eric, okay, let's just say that we gathered 500,000
What if you
people
were
together.
playing baseball and your job was to be Mark McGuire and put one over the fence, but the pitcher never pitched the ball to you? You'd be standing in the pit. That's the media. They're
doesn't
standing in the
matter.
batter's box going, throw the damn ball.
It's the media. They're puppets. They're talking heads. They're just puppets. It's the government you would want to protest, not the media, because the media,
Wrong.
you could send 500,000 people
Look at all
right
the
now to
look at all the
MSNBC, they
MAGAs
don't care.
outside the White House. Look how nuts they are.
The who?
They're the MAGA lovers. They're outside the White House. Look how crazy they are. It's time to go to the media outlets and say, we are on to you.
They're not. They don't have.
I just
a
got
say in
shaken
it.
off by Tabitha Hassel. Anyway, on to
don't have
COVID. Anyway, but
They
let's
don't
talk
have a
about the new
say.
Omicron variant. Let's go.
Oh
The
my
people-
God.
I mean, it doesn't look like we're going to get anywhere on
The
this one.
people who run the news organizations are part of the problem. They're just talking heads. They are given their orders by the government.
Yeah.
Protesting those people, it's not going to do any bit of good whatsoever.
If you had
Nothing.
tens of thousands of people outside of NBC,
They don't care. You're not paying them. You're not paying their money. You're not paying their bills. They don't care what we think.
okay. Is there anything good going on in?
I was just
I
letting
don't
that
know.
breathe for a second.
Is there things to talk about? Tashara Jones, maybe? I don't know. Something good. How
And
how about the cop robot dogs in New York? How about
Before
that?
you get attacked for saying MAGA crazies, you were just giving an example. You weren't
Yes,
actually
I
calling
was.
them
I
that's
was.
MAGA
what they
crazy.
call.
No, I was.
No, I know that, but I'm clearing it
You're
for
missing
anyone.
my point.
No,
You're missing my point.
I didn't miss your point. I totally understood. But for people who didn't understand, I'm just clarifying.
If the MAGA nuts
I knew what you
were
meant.
over there burning down the church across the street from the White House, it would be the biggest catastrophe since World War II.
And they'd be
But if
called
the
MAGA nuts.
But if Antifa does it when Trump's in office, it's like, well, it's just a peaceful protest. So now I'm like, look, the story isn't getting out there properly. It's not, and it's the fault of NBC, ABC, and CBS.
It's the
I'm
fault of the
sorry to
people who
tell
pay
you guys,
them.
it is
the fault of the people who pay them.
because these guys are the down. You know, you've heard of trickle down economics.
Of course.
The news is trickle down news. It comes from the big boys, and then we talk
Well,
about it.
what about China? If you go to China and you listen to Chinese news, do you think going to the news organization and storming the place is going to change the news?
Nobody in China or Russia thinks that the news isn't being tweaked to fit the narrative of a communist country. We are an American country, and we're
where
free.
you go wrong.
And we have
freedom is an illusion.
Freedom of the press.
We have freedom is an illusion. There is no freedom in this country.
Eric, I have good news for you today.
Tabitha frustrates me, Vic.
Yeah,
Can you throw me something over here?
Yes, I've got something you both are going to be excited about.
All right.
Okay, we are a national podcast with national stories. This is happening around the country when it comes to apartment development in areas that, well, it may not be the best for, depending on opinion. In the St. Louis area, there's a suburb called St. Charles County. They have been pushing these HUD developments, so to speak, if you want to call them HUD, apartment complexes. You two have a massive issue with these being built up, and you've talked about it over and over and over again. Well, the reason that this local story in the St. Louis area is interesting nationally is because the Dardenne Prairie Board of Aldermen now, guess what? They decided to delay voting on a new development of a 4-story apartment complex. They decided to do this last night. Why? Because residents filled the city hall during a special meeting to express their massive concerns with the tax abatement that the developers are getting to go ahead and build these facilities in their backyards, and they're getting paid to do it. City leaders also found themselves caught between the developer and then the Wentzville School District over the tax break.
You do know that
they're getting tax breaks to do this and build them.
Well, of course, the mayor of Dardenne is the only one in this area who stood up to and was against HUD coming into Dardenne, into St. Charles County. He stood alone. He was the only one.
And it just goes, they put it on hold. Does it mean it's going to get voted on again? Maybe, maybe not. Who knows what's going on? But it's because citizens, everyday citizens like you, like us, like anybody across the country, went and filled their city hall. Once again, they took the time to go fill it and voice their concern, and they stopped it for now. What happens from here? I don't know. We'll wait and see.
For Dardenne, what about the rest of St. Charles County? I mean, this has happened all across the country, of course, but in St. Charles County, all the other mayors, all of them, but Dardenne Prairie, voted for Section 8 coming into their neighborhood.
They're screwing everything
all of
up.
them.
People like their niceness. They move away from badness to go to niceness.
It's all about money and kickbacks.
Well, stand up and speak. We talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
Action.
In your local
A call
community,
to action.
Right. It helps in your local community.
This is what we just
Eric,
were talking about.
does this make you wanted some good? Is that good
I don't know
news?
that it's good news. I don't know that it's good news.
Why not? Why isn't it?
Because it is good news that the community fought back against, populating areas and then selling out to government programs that are going to bring in a culture maybe that's not in tune with the culture that these kind of people, no matter what culture, I don't care. I mean, you have to be very thoughtful before you decide to destroy something. And Section 8 needs to be thought about before you bring it into your communities. I'm sorry, it just does. And the fact that Dardenne was like, no taxes here. We want you to build it up. And then the Section 8 will bring in a certain kind of people. And if you live here and you're paying $800,000 for your house over here on the golf course, you're screwed.
Well,
Sucks to be you.
But the mayor was against it.
Right,
the mayor
I know.
was against it.
I know. That's what I'm saying. It's
but what can the mayor do when every other mayor in St. Charles wants it? I mean, then what?
Well, then we need to talk
Then
to
it
every
doesn't
single
happen
mayor.
in Darden Prairie.
Exactly.
And it's not
One
going to
little
happen in Darden
community.
Yeah,
Prairie
I
right
think
now.
that, but it's
Maybe
like,
it becomes an example for other
I
residents.
hope so. I hope
it's
it
a
does.
really good way to destroy communities. It really is. I'm sorry. I know that sounds mean. It's not mean. It's not mean.
Well, it diversifies the vote.
Well,
Well,
whatever.
you're taking it to a different direction.
I'm not even worried about
Well,
the
because
vote. I'm
Eric's
not
not
worried
even
about the
talking about
vote.
vote.
I'm not worried about the vote.
You should be worried about the vote because that's exactly what it's
well,
going
that's
to do
the
is
second tier of
diversify
this.
the vote.
You're right about that. It's
Because
the
it is
second tier.
bringing in Democrat voters, and it is bringing Democrat voters in, people who've moved out of the city who typically vote Democrat.
Yeah, but why can't
coming
they
into
go
St.
live
Why
Charles.
does it have to be the city? Why can't it be, Arnold,
can
Lower
live.
Arnold? Why
They-
can't it be Festus? Why can't it be all these other places? It's not even about that.
They can move anywhere they want, and they are. They're moving to St. Charles County.
Okay. Well, it is. It's something where, so when you buy a house, Vic, and if we have, Kathy was here, she would tell me, you get a house and it's a $100,000 house and you pay your bills and you work your ass off, and then you sell that one for a $200,000 house and you work your ass off and you're working and you get married and so you build up to certain lifestyle. Okay, which is completely fine, by the way. And that lifestyle, the life that you wanted to transition to, with no help from the government, with no help from anything, you have built a lifestyle in Darden Prairie or wherever that demands, hey, we came here for the lifestyle. We came here because we want the peace, because we don't want that. And you have these mayors who are upsetting the apple cart a little bit. Well, and these council meetings are important. Listen to your damn people.
The government doesn't care about your home value. They would rather you not own a home. That's why companies like BlackRock are buying up all the homes and renting them back out. There will be a time in this country, Eric, where there will be nowhere left to run, and the government will own all of the houses and the land underneath the home that you live in. You will rent it from the government.
You are the creepiest little person I've ever met in my life.
It's not creepy.
So
it's happening. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. It is happening, and it's
the good
going
thing,
to happen.
Eric,
and it's not creepy.
Could you imagine
by the way.
if Disney came out with a movie and she was the magic mirror on the wall? Magic mirror on the wall. Who's the fairest of them all? Not you, bitch.
I'm glad you didn't call her the evil stepmother. And
If I weren't on here,
no wire hangers.
If I weren't on here talking about this stuff, we'd have a lot less people listening to this show.
I'm only kidding you, Tabitha.
I know you are. But
He's
it's not
just
creepy.
messing with you.
It's reality.
The other thing about it is the fact that it's residents who the mayor did, but the mayor without the residents, it was a massive deal. It is a massive, massive deal. And by the way, the end of the story said, when it's voted on next week, it will be voted down. It will, that 190 apartment facility with shops and businesses will not be built at Bryan and Feezy Roads in Darden Prairie. It will not happen. And it was
St. Peter's is knocked around. I'll tell you that. St. Peter's is but Len Pagano.
And this story could be in California. It could be in New York.
It is. That's the best point you could make. It's happening in every single community, everywhere.
Man, why don't they put these badass places and develop? You know what? This goes out to Drew Collins, our friend. Why don't they put these amazing developments right in the middle of St. Louis, where they can actually help?
It was called Peabody.
Where they can actually no. I'm not talking about Peabody.
You're going back in the
I'm not talking about Peabody. I'm talking about these amazing developments that they're doing right now in St. Charles and St. Peter's and all these places that could be really beneficial to the good people of St. Louis.
That's my point. They have done that in St. Louis, and now a lot of them are where all of the, have you seen, there's some very nice areas. That O'Fallon neighborhood in the city of St. Louis, those are some very nice apartment buildings, and it's overrun by gangs now.
Yeah.
They tried that in St. Louis City, and look what eventually happened.
This had a lot to do with tax breaks for the developers, though. Just to make sure.
Yeah, what is it? Give them free taxes for St. Louis. My God.
Yeah, well, they were the developers get the tax abatements, they get the tax breaks to build, and that tax goes back on the community. And you can break down financial aspects and debate back and forth all over the place. But the bottom line is, residents had a problem with that. Wait a minute, you're going to give these developers tax breaks to come build these here? Not going to happen. And it didn't happen. And it's not happening. And maybe it'll be an example for other communities to follow as well.
Yeah. Because I'll tell you what, some of these luxury places they're putting up in that area, this area, if they had full boat, they would have some serious tax base. I mean, they would have a tax base from the people paying the rents on these places. It would be great for the communities.
It could be. I lived in those Trace apartments when I first moved to St. Charles County, and they're beautiful apartments. They're extremely expensive, very nice place to live. But then they started Section 8 housing there, and we had hookers and drug addicts.
I just hope take note. Just
Kathy
take note.
Not that all
just
Section
take
8
note.
as well.
Take note right now of the mayors that are doing this in your town, and they might not be there in 5 years from now. But let them know that if they screw this up, it was their fault.
Can you go back and add one word in there? Republican mayors.
No. Yeah, I don't
It's
know.
Republican.
No, Lynn Pagano is a Democrat.
But
I always thought he did a fairly good job with St. Peter's.
A lot of the mayors in the St. Charles County, along with other places in the country, these are Republican mayors.
So
who are allowing
they're
this
as money
in their
hungry
city.
as anyone else, I guess. Okay.
And guys, tomorrow we're going to do AI. We'll do some headlines to start the show, and then it's all AI, artificial intelligence. I think this is going to blow your mind, the things that are happening. I'm still learning. I mean, literally, you can hire AI as a work assistant. You can hire AI to do most. Has anybody been messing around with AI at all?
I have been on the chat GPD or whatever you call it. That's about it.
Oh, I have, but it's also getting very serious as well. We're talking about jobs being taken. We've talked about it here. How about lawyers? I was talking to a lawyer the other day. They're concerned.
Yes.
Taking job. You don't even need lawyers.
You don't need lawyers anymore. You don't need anyone.
In
It
some
will remove all
senses,
of us.
you do. I mean, obviously, for some of them, you do.
It will reduce the workforce down to next to nothing. And tomorrow, for AI Day, I have a story that will blow your mind.
Okay. In regards to any?
It's AI related, and it's how your loved ones can live with you forever.
I guess my question and my only question is, how is AI have the ability to kill all of humanity?
And that's another deal too.
That's the only
Well,
question
it's
I have.
making our food. That could make it kind of obvious.
It is bizarre. So
in
we'll get
some
into
ways.
that.
How do you not
And
just
Scotty,
unplug it from the wall?
And Scotty, before we go today, can you show the Keanu video that I sent you? As we get people set for AI Day tomorrow, because we already know we're living in a very bizarro time where AI is now putting together shows and anchors and people that really aren't there. And then now we saw the Tom Cruise lookalike, last month? And now in the midst of the popularity of John Wick, Tabitha swears this is not Keanu Reeves.
It is not. It's
but
a
if you
deep fake.
see this person walking down the street, you...
Wait a minute, what? Is he just a doppelganger, or is that AI?
What they do is they use a person of similar stature, and it's a deep fake.
Oh.
If you see that person walking down the streets, that is Keanu Reeves. I mean,
and it's not real. It's all AI.
Yeah, I didn't understand the iron aspect of it, but they're Keanu Reeves, Eric.
If you listen to it, he's talking about how do you keep the iron unplugged? You take it with you.
Well, if you guys send me a sample of your voice today, all you gotta do is do it on your phone.
Okay.
And send me a picture, just a headshot, or I can find one. I can sample you and if you do it today, I can have it ready for tomorrow.
What do you mean sample?
Those little AI deals where you put your information in and it makes you look like.
Thank you,
somebody
Scotty.
else.
That's awesome.
No. I just had a client where I needed to get him to revoice something for me, voiceover. I said, I can't make it out. I can't do this. And it was like 3 words. All I needed was 3 words. So I took a part of him talking in the other part of the video that I was working on, and I sampled his voice to sound like him. And all I did was type in the words. And I said, yeah, I fixed it.
That's how AI works.
So all I need you guys to do is send me a copy of just talk into your voice recorder. Send it to me. I won't do anything I'll just type it in, and then I'll take your face and I will be able to make you guys say whatever the hell it is.
Oh, you promise you'll do that for me?
If you do it, if you guys
I'll send it to you right after the show.
Oh, I'm scared too.
Of course I'll do it right after the show. That's badass. We're going to do, and you won't want to miss that show tomorrow. Like, subscribe, share, do whatever you can there, of course. And always go to canceltheshow.com. Of course, you can listen to us live. You're here, but you can also listen and watch us live outside of the 8 to 10 a.m. Central Time, as always. Guys, we appreciate you joining us today. Scotty Gherkin, Lizzie Sparks, Eric Johnson, Tab the Hassle. I'm Vic Faust. Have a great April 13th. We'll see you for tomorrow's April 14th show. All AI. Have a great day.
I'm scared.
You should be.